it's like you have to fake smile for like 30 seconds.
We are live. We're alive.
Good evening. We always have a little bit of fun. Every week we say to the guest, be on 10 minutes early because we need to check all the tech stuff. We have no contingency if the tech doesn't work from our side, and we can't get ourselves on, let alone get the guest on.
Because we had a week off last week. We're out of sync.
We should really be on the ball and refreshed and ready to go, which I'm sure we are. So good evening and apologies from myself. And Kat was on time. Kat was early. She's not involved in this apology at all. This is just me and my wonderful laptop and my wonderful child. And everyone else's fault apart from mine, because Tony's away to a theatre on a Thursday night to go out and enjoy herself. Crazy.
Crazy woman. Imagine that. Why is she not home watching the Blether?
Right. Maybe they've got like a live show on the theatre. It's just like a massive screen.
A live. I found out that my 11-year-old son tuned in not last week but the week before. He's like, "Mom, I saw you on YouTube." He's just in the next room. If I could get all my kids watching, imagine like we would massively increase the viewing numbers. That's fantastic. I mean, I don't have that many, but every little helps.
How many kids have you got?
I like the old woman that lived in the shoe. Anyway, so much waffle already. So what happens when we don't see each other for a week?
Yeah, we're just going to say hello to some of the guys who are watching, who've been having a little chat, amusing themselves while we faff with cameras and tech. So good evening to Dave. He has got the rare fine Dal UN50. What a dram that is in his glass tonight. Tim Powells, good evening to you. Thanks for joining us. A blend of Springbank 10 and Kilkerran 12. That sounds interesting. Is that a homemade blend, or is it one of the Campbellton blends that have come out from? There's Little Brown Dog and David Stark, Little Electric Coo and Mark Watt released a Campbelltown blend.
That's right.
That had some Springbank, but I think Springbank in that was 16. I think it was a bit older, lower volume, but higher age. Anyway, let us know if it's a homemade blend or what it is you've got. Dominic, good evening, Dominic. You have got Angel's Nectar Isla Rioja cask. Angel's Nectar, that's a dram that we used to have in the shop. It's not, I haven't seen it for a wee while. They did a peated and an unpeated as well. Quite a nice little dram that. Good evening, Willis. He is saying good evening, David. David, I think, is watching from the loft today. Good evening to you. He says, get on the other side.
Is it because I started the live chat? I'm on the wrong side of the screen, or get on the other side of where? Like the afterlife? Is it a death threat? Like,
that is a bit harsh. Yeah.
Oh, other side. Okay, I'll try and get on the other side.
On the other side, yeah. Who else have we got? Willis is on the 28-year-old Speyside Distillery single cask sherry butt.
Everyone's whacking out the big drams tonight.
Oh, indeed.
Nice. Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong side of the screen. Everyone's saying that I'm on the left side, so I must usually be on the right side then. I've never noticed.
Maybe because you're host tonight.
Yeah, it must be. I've swapped sides. I wonder if I can change that.
It's not normal.
You can. I don't think anything about this.
So because you're host, you can swap us if you want.
Oh. Do you know what? I don't want to press buttons, and we still haven't got Andrew on. I might lose him by accident. He's been waiting so patiently for us. We're just playing around with buttons.
So good evening to everybody else. Alistair Gray is in. Good evening. And Pete Head. No whiskey for him yet. It's too early. It's 8 minutes past 7, Pete Head. Come on.
Oh, I know, but yeah, I still haven't been off to vote yet or had dinner, so I'm just on coffee just now. I don't want to go rolling into the voting.
I always do
Go on.
I'm going to say I do my vote first thing in the morning to get it out of the way.
I didn't have time. I was doing the school run, and then I was late finished at work, and I was going to try and do it on the way home, and I didn't. But I've got till 10 o'clock, but I better not go in just stinking of whiskey, like shouting abuse at Tory supporters. No offence. No offence if you're a Tory supporter. It's a safe space.
We'll draw a line at that for the evening. That is not going to go any further. We're not going to give anyone the chance to rebuff, because then we go straight into the dark side of drinking, which is politics. Shall we get Andrew in?
I think so.
He announces himself as a lifelong Tory fan, and he's not going to do the chat anymore.
But I've got to put that politics degree to good use at some point. Wait till I figure out how to get. Here we go. There we go. Hello, Andrew. Thank you for patiently waiting.
Good evening.
I used it resourcefully. I just joined the chat there, so I just realised I had to log in there. So I used those few minutes well. So now I can see. I can see what you're seeing. I didn't see that in a minute ago. I was like, where are they making these comments from? But yeah, that's me in there.
Yeah, there you are, down there.
I can join this chat too because I'm not host. That's pretty cool.
Oh, you can do it too. So what? I can't do. No, wait. I can reply to people, right? Because you always reply to people.
You can reply to people on the. So again, we're getting used to new things here. Where's?
This is probably not the time and place for you to teach me how to use StreamYard.
No, not at all. No. It's asking me to verify. I have no idea where my phone is. There it is.
I just did that as well. As I was fiddling about myself.
Well, welcome to the Blether, Andrew. Thank you very much for joining us. I think I've been chasing you down. No, I've been chasing you down for, I think, since last year. But you're
a new roller banner. I was waiting for that to come in, so that's 2 years and it came in, so that's ready to go.
Do you know it was worth the wait? That's a nice banner.
It is. Do you know what? It's the first time it's ever. But I was trying to showcase it, but it's quite different. It's a new trilogy, so it's it just came in the office 2 days ago. I'm going to use it tomorrow in Edinburgh, so you're actually the first people to actually see it.
I'll just have that here.
There you go.
I wish I'd thought of that. That's a good plan. I've got like plants and stuff. Or this side, plants on the side, and pictures. And
you can't go wrong with a plant, though.
I think it's a plant. I don't know what's going on here. This is I've not done these Zoom sort of. It used to be tastings, but I've not done it for a while. So you forget you have to set up and the height of your laptop and the lighting and
I know. I've got my laptop sitting in a picnic hamper, and I'm currently propped up on a cushion. That's behind the scenes.
Yes, I know. It's behind the scenes is chaos.
I'm actually very uncomfortable for a couple hours every week.
Exactly. You make all our guests uncomfortable as well, so it's fine.
That's harsh, but fair.
Nothing early.
No pressure, Andrew. But Paul Dempsey has just joined us and sends.
No, that's great. Paul's been a great help since I started at Space, so he's been superb. So yeah, no problem at all. He probably can answer a few questions I don't know. So it's quite handy to have in the chat.
We had Paul on the chat. Were we not trying to trebuchet raccoons or koalas over to Isla? I think.
Interesting.
It was something like that.
Yeah. As you're talking about strange topics, I was at a train station coming home today, and I seen Ian from Tomintoul, and he was saying, we did. I think it was Richard's last chat or something. He did. Russell's last chat, and he was talking about pylons or something like that. I was like, okay. I wasn't really sure what to expect tonight, but yeah, he kind of set me up. It's going to be a sort of very left field discussion and whiskey.
Very random.
Nice.
That chat with Ian, because we had Ian Forteeth and Ian McAllister on. That went on for 4 and a bit hours.
Yeah. He was telling me it was like a record or something. So like, wow.
It was, yeah. It's we'll aim to beat it tonight.
Not with me.
We've got Rhys Bowman on as well, who I think works for the distillery. Am I not right?
Rhys recently left. I think he's now with is it Balmunnock? Is that the Caroon Gin Distillery?
Yeah.
I think he's with them.
I must have missed that.
He might comment, but I'm sure he's with. Is it Balmunnock? Is that the name? Balmunnock? Am I getting right? I can't remember. The Caroon Gin Distillery.
Balmunnock. I think it's
Balmunnock. Sorry, my pronunciation is horrific.
there's no distillery in Scotland that is actually pronounced how it reads. So
Yeah.
We don't know what's good. Oh, Kat's turned her camera off. She's probably away to
Get a gin and tonic.
probably maybe probably getting a charger for her laptop. Paul has to keep the chat going, save us all from the election. Yes, good point. We'll probably have record figures tonight because nobody wants to watch telly tonight. If you're bored, watch Wimbledon or us. Don't watch politics.
Quite a busy day, isn't it? July the 4th. It's Independence Day in America as well, so it's a busy day in the old social media.
Yeah, happy Independence Day, everybody. For
to those bourbon casks that we always need.
I was going to get a charger, by the way. I'm charged and ready to go.
Good stuff.
So, Andrew, I've just poured the Trilogia.
So I'm the same. I've got the same. Yeah,
it's such a good draft. It's
quite complex for a core range product, like a entry or starting sort of.
What are we looking at? 6 years?
No, it's older. It's much older than that. Half of it's Famari, and I think that is around about 9 or 10 years. I think the minimum age in this is at least 8. So yeah, it's not a young whiskey at all. But it's compared to the other ones in the sort of Tenne, Trutina, Famari. This is definitely most complex, I think. So yeah, we're quite happy with it. But yes, it's definitely not if it's your first introduction to Spey, it'll be quite a roller coaster because there's quite a lot going on, as they saying.
It's quite cool because you could do a deconstruction almost using the other 3 and this one. You could have this one and then you can find out where all the flavors come from, can't you?
I think you can actually pick out. I think the Trutina's hard because it's obviously a bourbon cask, but you can definitely pick out the port at the start and definitely pick out the peat at the end. So already, that's more complex than a lot of the whiskies in the same kind of price bracket. So yeah, we're pretty happy with it. Definitely.
Quite right with you. It's brilliant, really nice, and it's good for a warm kind of hot day.
This is a classic for a sort of a July night where it's been raining heavily. It's quite humid, but then the sun pokes out every now and again, so it's ideal for that kind of complex weather, complex dram. So perfect.
Very true.
Oh, that's nicely done. That's an excellent sales pitch there.
Complex weather.
That would work for Scotland all year round. Complex weather.
We're just getting started. There's no scripts in this show.
No, absolutely not. If there was scripts, then those guys, the writers are off the wall. So, Andrew, we like to talk a little bit about the distillery you work for and the brand you're with, but more so, we want to get to know you.
No problem, yeah.
What drives you? First and foremost, what brought you into the whiskey industry? Was it a passion first, or was it a career first? Or
no, it was definitely sort of a family first. My grandparents were originally from Islay, but they moved over to Glasgow because of the shipbuilding, etc. But we still, as a youngster, used to go over to Islay every summer holiday. So the grandparents went over, and the parents would send my big brother, my little sister, and myself over to Islay. So all my summers were had an influence of Islay. So that's like 5, 6 year old, 7 year old. I probably then fast forward because we went every year to into sort of early 20s, and it kind of you get a bit older and you go, I don't want to go to Islay anymore. But I'd probably say starting from the late 20s, you start to see this industry that's on in the background in Islay, and you think this is a wee island off the west coast of Scotland, and it's got these very famous establishments, and so many of them in such a small place. And you start getting interested in even just the history of it. And I think most families in Islay are connected to Islay had some members who worked in distilleries. So my granddad was an electrician in the Port Ellen distillery, so Lafroigs and Lagavulins used to help out there. And my granddad's brother, so my great uncle, was the last, I want to say Stillman, but it could be Maltman, one of the two, last Maltman or Stillman of Port Ellen distillery. So he was also a butcher and the postman. So he did a few things, but yeah, he worked at Port Ellen as well. So that's where our family's originated, or my mum's side originated from Portel and Isla. So that's where it came from. It was just a kind of a family theme. And then I saw in the late 20s, my late 20s, I started to see whiskey as a potential career. And I always remember thinking how whiskey was presented back then. So as we talk about maybe 13, 14 years ago. And it was always kind of like an older man talking about whiskey, and this is how it should be done. And I always thought, I don't know why, but I always thought this could be done a wee bit more interestingly or more inclusive. So that's what first got me started. Essentially, I thought whiskey could be promoted in a slightly different way. But I wasn't alone. There's lots of other people doing it at the same time. And you can see nowadays it's such a varied way of promoting whiskey. There's so many different styles now. So, but back maybe 15 years ago, it was very much the older man would tell everyone else how to drink whiskey, and this is the way it was. So, yeah, I always just thought we've got a world-class product here. I think it could be promoted a bit better. That's kind of how it first started for me. From there, I have to kind of link in my brother's story as well, because he was I think he was a banker at Wall Street. He was, I don't think I know. He was a banker in Wall Street and around about the crash. And he came back home, and he had a similar kind of upbringing. And he created the Isla collection, which was a pack of 8 miniatures of all the Isla whiskies. And that was when there was only 8. Now I'm not sure how many there is now, but there's going to be about 13 or 14 soon. So you're talking, I think it was around 2010 that he brought that out. And from there, he landed a job with Bruichladdich back around 2010, I think it was. But that just sort of inspired me to go my own route. And I thought whiskey's got potential for myself. So I started a small business called the Whiskey Guy. So I've got the glass here. I said, I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah.
This was meant to be like wee sort of tastings. So I went and got lots of whiskies, and I thought, right, how do I learn how to promote this or present this whiskey? So I actually went to One Devonshire, and they had a nice whiskey room. I don't know if it's like, it's a famous hotel in Glasgow. And another name you'll recognise was a bar manager there, Ebon. I don't know if you know Ebon from formerly Loch Lomond. I think he's now Arbickie. Spanish chap. No,
oh,
yeah. So Ebon's the manager. So Ebon.
Has he not just got a new job though? He's just moved. I think he just announced it on his Instagram.
Is it like recently, as in the last few days?
Yeah, if it's the same guy I'm thinking of, beard and like
where's his starts with an M. The second name's quite long and very Spanish. I can't remember second. It's like I know his second name, but I can't pronounce it. I don't want to pronounce it. It's too early in the night for pronouncing Spanish surnames, 14 characters long. So yeah, he was a manager. He had a great passion for whiskey at the time. But he said he was too busy in the bar, so he needed something to do the whiskey tastings. So that's how I learned. Just jump in the deep end, just go and promote or just go and present 1 or 2 hour long whiskey tastings to people who had whiskey tasting vouchers for One Devonshire. And from there, I just realised I had a kind of knack for dealing with people, presenting it in a fun way, but also knowledgeable. Like I could pass on information as well. So that has been my kind of mantra throughout, just make it enjoyable for the person who's there or the people that are there, and also you get knowledge as well. So I always think when people go to a tasting and they leave with a smile on their face, it's mission accomplished. It's not so much I don't have to impart loads of information if they don't want it, but it's just if they have a good night associated with you and the brand, I think that's perfect. From there, I managed to the plan was to start my business and go from there, but then a small child called Alexander popped out. So I had to think about how do I finance this? So I ended up going to part-time whiskey guy, part-time. I worked for the whiskey shop in Glasgow. So the big retail company up and down the UK. So that's where I was do both at the same time. And then I'm sort of eased into full-time at the whiskey shop and Buchanan Gallery. So I knew how to walk around that circle many different interesting ways. So if you know the shop, you know what I'm talking about. It's just a wee circle. But yeah, it was a properly busy shop. You had so many tourists, so many things. It's basically right in the centre of Glasgow, and whenever there was any events in Glasgow, that was the shop that everyone went to get their whiskey. So it was always a very busy shop. and that kind of taught me about retail side of things and the presentation of the bottles and the packaging, and how important it was, because a lot of people were buying gifts for other people, so it wasn't about tasting the whiskey. A lot of people said, I don't want to try the whiskey, I just want to. So it was a lot of things like price point, the age statements, the how does it look, and do they recognise the name? So quite a lot of things came through that I learned about what people look for on the shelf, and because usually it's a very split decision for a lot of people, and it's influenced by the person's. I mean, you know yourself in the shop, it's you put down 3 bottles in the shop, and they'll pick one, and you can probably predict in your head what one they're going to pick by certain aspects of the bottle. Like, for example, Dalmore is always very popular. Good colour, lovely packaging. It always went really well. So yeah, things like that really helped me learn about the end user and who's buying the whiskey. Because I think sometimes you get caught up in making all sorts of styles of whiskey without knowing who's buying this at the end of the day. So you have to, every stage of whiskey is quite good to learn all the different stages of the process. From there, I got an internal promotion in the whisky shop to Lochfine whiskies. So whisky shop had about 20 shops, but they also owned the Lochfine whiskies in Inverary. I think I know they've got a shop in Edinburgh now. So they had their own range. I'll show you here. So I managed to dig out an old bottle. I don't know if you recognise this. This one wouldn't have been that. Maybe some of your viewers wouldn't have seen it unless they're in one of the Lochfine shops or whisky shops, because this is an exclusive brand for those shops.
I've got one of the Living Cask release.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, I was involved in batch number, in the actual blending of that for batch number 10, I think it was 10, 11, and 12.
I've still got it. I think it's batch number 6 I've got.
Batch 6 was, I think that's one of the best. That was a smoky one. That was really good. That was, I think most of that was Kalila. Yeah, I got that. That was a spoiler after all these years, but yeah, it was mostly Kalila, that one. That was a good one. That's
the Christmas we opened the shop, so 2015, Christmas 2015, I'm sure I got that.
And that's when I was working in the whisky shop around that time. So I think batch 6 was one of the first ones that I had in my portfolio when I became the sort of Lochfine brand ambassador. So I'd go around the 20 whisky shops and the 2 Lochfine shops and do events, external events, and just do the main 2 products were the blend. It was like a Lochfine blend. It was around £24. And you had a Lochfine Gin. It was around the same price. They were very popular. And then from there, you had the Living Cask that you mentioned, which was obviously a continuous vatting blended malt. And then this one I showed you here, this was like the top of the range. You had an occasional single cask. I'll try and zoom in. This is a, I've not tried this in years. This is a Bunnahabhain 14 single cask. So this came in. So I'm trying to. There we go, 50%. It came in. I remember getting samples for that. It was like 67%. And we thought, because most of I think all the single cask editions we'd released at that point were all cask strength. We decided to go into 50% for this one. So yeah. From there, what happened after Lochfine? COVID happened. That's what happened. So I had a full diary planned for events, festivals for, would that have been summer of 2020 and then March 2020. It's all in the bin. So I get a dot for the next year or so. I dotted around the whisky shop because a big company had an auction site and they'd all sorts of shops. I'd kind of fill in gaps for about a year, and then I thought I preferred being front facing, dealing with customers, dealing with creating whiskies. So that's when I started to look for other positions, and that's when Speyside came up. And it's a perfect role for me. So it's got a mixture of creation and presenting. So yeah, Spey's been great. So I've been there since August 2022 until now. And I can't believe it's almost 2 years because it's just flown in. It's been super fast. And Kat, you're talking about getting me on this earlier. And I thought, I don't think I'm quite ready yet. I don't have any new products. And I thought, give us a year or so and we have some new products. And now we've got, new ones have arrived, and we've got lots of plans for new products coming in the next few quarters as well. So it's quite exciting times.
Yeah, because it's like the first.
I'll take a breath.
You've had a really interesting career. Like, you've kind of done a little bit of everything. So I guess it's set you up well for becoming a brand ambassador. Sorry,
very
what is your
unorthodox.
official?
Yeah. I'd say this the classic route is I always think, I don't know if you know, Scotch whisky experience in Edinburgh. It feels like you fit, and there's another place, I think is it Douglas Lang and maybe Hunter Lang. You see a lot of people go through certain routes to get, and you can see their CVs are quite similar, and that's great. They're all superb. But yeah, mine's completely left field. It's not the normal route to market. Definitely not. But yeah, I think it kind of suits my style. So I'm always I've always done things my own way and a wee bit different. But yeah, it kind of helps me when I'm presenting. It's just I'm not. Yeah, I'm the number 10 in behind, just doing some crazy passes. So yeah, anyway, a wee football analogy there for you.
Yeah, I'm not great on football analogy.
That's going over the head there.
Yeah.
Although an Italian guy did explain the offside rule to me, that I was like offside rule to me the other day.
Football rules are just terrible just now. Yeah,
well, it kind of made sense. I mean, I don't think I care enough to remember, but time it made sense. So I'm good.
Offside's bad enough. It's down to the millimetre now with the cameras, but the handball rules the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, football and politics, is this where we're heading?
I panicked there because you started talking about other things, and I was tapping out. I was like, "Oh no, I've started off a whole chat about football. I don't know what to do."
You started. You were like, "Hey, let's talk football. I know offside." Well,
I'm an expert.
I think we watched after the Euros. We I think unanimously we need to agree to give up the football, but we'll go to the Euros anyway as a fan base and just go and support other folk.
Yeah. Because some of the videos, because I think that's the thing. It's maybe different this time than previous times. I know we went 3 years ago, but it was like kind of more. It was like COVID hit, I think.
Yeah, it was all home, wasn't it?
The TikToks and the videos that we never had in the past. It's like, oh, it's brilliant. And you think this is more entertaining than the games. This is like watching the Germans taking on the Scottish songs and saying, "We're gonna thanks Scotland. We're gonna sing it now." So it's hilarious. The TikTok's brilliant.
Yeah, we had the guys who went looked like they had an amazing time. There was just like 3 times 90 minutes where it was pretty awful, and the rest
great apart from the football gone away.
Graham Fraser's comment. He's on Facebook. He's watching on a train to Edinburgh tonight. He's just saying he had a great tasting with you in Stirling a wee while ago.
Oh, he's got me there. I can't think.
He enjoyed it anyway. So.
Pass. Sure, it was me, yeah.
Maybe it was one of those generic wee whiles ago. You know when you say like, "Oh, the other day," but you actually meant 2 years ago. So maybe it was like a generic wee while ago.
Last time I met Graham, I'm sure it was in what's it called again? The Whiskey Bar in East End of Glasgow. I'm sure it was in there. Oh, I can't remember the name. Oh, I'm terrible with names for things. It's one off the Barrowlands. The gate. He was in the gate. I'm sure he was in there. And I was talking to him, but I don't remember doing a tasting. But yeah, in Stirling. But yeah, maybe.
Normally it's the punters who are meant to forget it. It's not meant to be the host.
It's just the Stirling. No, I remember doing the Stirling Whiskey Festival, but I can't remember. I didn't do a tasting there. But yeah, maybe it was years ago. I don't know. Anyway, next question.
Dean Joe, he's on. Hello, Dean. How are you? Glad to have you on. He's saying he doesn't trust the Italians when it comes to football. He's still crying over the Saka moment. Is that this penalty at the end of in the final of the Euros, or was that when he got hauled down for a free kick? There was 2 Saka moments, I remember.
It's a very niche complaint. I don't remember that at all. So yeah, what are you talking about, Dean?
Both were very legit, I think it was.
Yeah, the referee was perfect in that, but I don't know what you're talking about.
I really genuinely don't know what you're talking about.
I think the subtitle would be Dean felt that England were due something from the referee and they never got it, I presume.
Yeah, but apparently they're not like playing that good, right?
I think they're playing top. I think they're playing top form. I'm delighted by the way they're playing. But anyway, this is too much. We need to get away from football. This is here. We're going to cause an absolute riot in the chat if we keep on.
If they're winning games playing the way they're playing, then that's how champions are made. And if they go on and win it, hey, at least they'll stop speaking about 66. Maybe.
So who did win? Is it not? It's not finished, right? Is it still?
We're in the quarterfinals and they start on Saturday, Kat. So.
Okay, let me just pencil that in. I'll make sure to watch. It's just not my game. I like rugby.
Jeremy saying, evening, busy week for you with the big news. I am going to assume that's a comment directed at Dean and the big news about Dallas 2.
Yeah, that was big news. We'll have to get Dean on for a chat about it.
Yeah, Dean or Ben, because Ben's birthday. It was Ben's birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Ben Chambers, if you're watching or if you watch later on. Get them both on. They can both talk about it.
Let's do that because, like, you know, it's so easy getting one on. Let's make it even harder. Let's go for 2. We can't do 2 because we never got extra screens on. My internet doesn't survive. Do you remember when we had the guys from Aquavite on and I just disappeared for the whole night?
Kept going off. Yeah. Well, we'll maybe do one from the shop where we're both sitting in the shop.
We'll have to do that.
We'll be on one screen.
Yeah.
We've got Alan Smith on YouTube. Andrew, he is asking, are you at the Whiskey Fringe this year?
That is one that we've not, since I've been there, we've not done. I think it's, we've never done it, and it's not one we're planned to do, I don't think. But if somebody wants to ask, we might join. But we've got, our calendar's pretty full. But I've heard it's a really good one. So, but again, it's just one. And you see Paul's in the chat or whatever. I've kind of inherited his festival list, and we only changed it if we thought it needed change. So that wasn't on the list. So it's just one we haven't really incorporated. But
okay. If
things change, we might do it. But you'll be able to see us all over the place. Where we start, we'll go. I think Southport next week. So you'll see us at different places. Near you guys, I don't know if it's that near. We're doing the Dornoch Festival as well, but I guess probably not that close to you. We're doing that one.
It's about 4 hours. You know?
I know, close in my head. It looks the same side of the map.
Anything north of Dundee is close to us.
We're doing Stirling again, and we're doing Glasgow again, and there's a few more. Probably I can't think off the top of my head. Yeah.
Maybe that's the one that the guy remembers you.
What's that, say again?
Maybe Stirling, if you were there last year, maybe that's what the guy's talking about. They said he enjoyed.
I was definitely there last year. I can't remember doing a tasting though.
He did say it last autumn.
Last autumn. It sounds like the time the Stirling Festival was on, but I don't remember doing a tasting.
Maybe he just came to your table.
I was busy going around on my phone trying to take pictures, but yeah.
I mean, Graham's one of these guys, you see him all over Facebook doing a lot of whiskey stuff. So his memory must be fantastic to remember everything that he does. So
I see Graham's mentioned Sandy. So Sandy's actually, I'm sure Sandy was the chap who created the smoky aspect of Spey. I think. I don't know exact details, but he was heavily involved in the Famari. And again, essentially the Trilogia is from his work, I'm sure. Because the smoky part of that would be 10 years ago. So you're talking, it was distilled maybe 2014. So I'm guessing that was the time Sandy was at Spey or Speyside.
Have the bottles changed?
The bottles have changed. We've taken away the ribbon. So
we've
taken away the ribbon, and the label's now square instead of oval. And it's just a bit easier to read, maybe a bit more, the font's a bit bigger. Packaging's completely changed. So we've gone from the tubes to the boxes, and you get a spiel on the back as well. So you can.
And the boxes are about that much smaller than the tubes, so they fit on a shelf a little bit easier.
That was not by design. That's pure luck. That was because the tins have got like a metal bottom, metal top. So so the box is actually an inch smaller by luck, because the bottle's the same size.
I've got an old one, and it only fits on one shelf on my shelves. So that's the old kind of one.
But an old Tenne?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Is that cask strength one? Or is it the 46? Nice colour.
No, it's the 46. It's 46.
Yeah, that is our best selling whiskey for the last I don't know how many years. That is the best seller.
I'm a
It's
big
very-
port cask fan, and the cask strength Tenne, it's right up there with my favorite. I think it's an absolute belter. So good.
Well, I wouldn't say. I'm not going to say too much, but watch this space. So that is something
Oh, that's
we are
exciting.
looking at. It's not going to be. It's not going to be exactly like what you're saying there, but it's a variation on a very popular dram. I'm not going to say anymore. It's coming soon.
You're just stopping yourself
with wee nuggets information.
We have another of the ex distillers as a guest in a couple of weeks. We've got Alan joining us in July. Is it next week? Alan is.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I was just suddenly thinking, I don't know who's coming on next week, but I think it is him. I was trying to remember, and I think it is next week.
I think he said the 13th. That'll be a nice segue, or maybe it's 2 weeks. That'll be a nice segue into it, though.
That's a former Speyside Distillery.
Yeah, Alan Finlay. He's now with.
Oh, Alan Finlay. I didn't hear the name. Yeah. He was the distillery manager when I arrived. But I think I'm guessing, did he leave in autumn? Was it? Time flies. I think he's now up at. Is it Balmod?
Balmod. Next turf, yeah.
He's showing some nice pictures from the still room. It looks good. The view's out. I'm guessing it's Aberdeenshire.
Although I dare say that the Speyside Distillery, where you guys are currently, is one of the most quaint distilleries, and certainly in mainland Scotland. I think it's absolutely stunning where you guys are.
Yeah. It's, I mean, we're spoiled in Scotland for all the scenery. That's again, go back to why I got into whiskey. It's like take away the spirit in the glass, and everything about whiskey is still great. It's the people and the places that it is made, and it's all the nooks and crannies of Scotland and the fantastic corners from Islay to even close to me, like a place like Glengoyne's a lovely place, and then you go up to Speyside. That's fantastic. I always think Speyside about like Postman Patland. It's kind of undulating hills, where the West Coast is much more rugged. So there's so many different aspects to whiskey apart from that.
Mike, every time you make a video from your tours, I want you to do it to the Postman Pat theme tune in the background. That would be the cutest thing ever. Little whiskey bus going up and down over the bumps.
People are thinking in the Yorkshire Dale.
Crashing lights here.
That's quite a good analogy to it. Speyside is quite like that.
Yeah, it's very rolling.
Was that right? Yeah, plants and stuff going for. Oh my goodness.
It's not just me that has lighting problems every week. I'm glad to see.
How many whiskeys have I had?
It's nice though. You've now got a sort of rosy tint on you. It's a bit Mariah Carey. It's lovely.
This is how I flow. Just like if things happen, just go with it and just go with it. This is all by design. This side light. This is all by design. Yeah. Go back and posting that. Yeah, Mike going around just delivering whiskies. I can see that. Just that'd be good. Just as a nice theme tune where he's posting whiskies through the post box.
So who was it who had the ice cream van outside their shop for 2 minutes outside their house? I heard the bells going.
Was it me?
Maybe me.
It must have been you.
You have one that goes.
I think it was.
I didn't even hear it.
We need to do that. Megaphone on the top of the.
A guy floating around shouting for Alba. Vote Alba. So there we go. Football into politics. Let's go. Round 2. But yeah.
Do you know, if an ice cream van was telling me to vote for something, I might consider it. I am that easily won over.
I can't say. I'm pretty sure it's not the ice cream van that's saying this. I'm sure there's 2 vehicles. I don't think they're connected.
That would be quite the ploy, wouldn't it? Have a Mr. Whippy and vote Alba. I'm like, yeah, all right.
It's not the worst plan.
Yeah. You could have the ballot box inside the ice cream van, couldn't they? And just go around picking the votes.
I was actually phoned the shop and I heard there's some issues up north about the postal votes. Is that right? It's not arrived or something? Or, that's a disaster.
I don't know. I haven't heard. I've avoided all media today, so I'm not sure if there is.
Not sure.
Yeah, I missed that. I don't know. Ice cream and Sapien. Yeah, that's an awesome shout. Let's do that.
Whiskey and ice cream. Have you ever tried that? I don't know if you remember the guys who do the frozen. They make ice cream on the spot from like a milky sort of substance, and then they pour a wee drop of whiskey in it. Have you ever seen this guy? He makes a kind of frozen. It's like a frozen plate, and he makes ice cream on the spot. Anyway, I was doing it with a guy, and obviously you think, oh, it's gonna be like the sherry casks or whatever will be the best whiskey to put in this ice cream, that nice sweet one. But actually, it was the peaty one that worked the best with ice cream. It was crazy. It was like peaty whiskey, and ice cream was the best of the bunch. Yeah, so
the guys at Balvenie Street Ice Cream do fantastic. I think they do a Glengarry one, or they did a Glengarry special.
They used to. Maybe he still does it, but I
not at the shop anymore.
No, I think he stopped with us when the shop stopped.
Yeah. But they didn't.
Yeah, talking about peated whiskey and ice cream, the best one I ever had was out on the Isle of Gia when I was over on holiday at Campbellton, and it was Bamore with bramble ice cream, and it was absolutely beautiful. It was so yum.
The smoky whiskey with ice cream is a cheat code, definitely. If you've not tried it, 100% try it, because it sounds like it shouldn't work, but it's brilliant.
No,
I like, and I think this would work as well. Peated whiskey, certainly lightly peated, not so much like your heavy kind of. Octomore
over 99. Just.
But salt caramel ice cream with a little bit of peated whiskey in it is just phenomenal.
Yeah, that'd be
I
quite
totally
good.
agree. Yes, it's if I ever go in the Ready Steady Cook, that's what I'm making, is peated ice cream. So,
oh my gosh. This has got a lot of leg room. Because a couple of weeks ago we had a chat about whiskey and crisps, and that does work, but yeah, whiskey and ice cream.
Does it? I'm not seeing it's kind of hard and crunchy. And whiskey, I'm not a fan. I have to say, it's got to be good. I remember like cheese and crackers. I'll lose the crackers. I'll just have the cheese and the whiskey. I don't like crumbly things with whiskey. But again,
what about Watsits or Skips? Because they're not crunchy. They're soft and melty.
Maybe found a loophole there.
We had this conversation at length with Greg from Rare Find. So.
I think by the end of the conversation, it was just us three left. I think everybody else had just gone to bed.
Got the larder to grab some crisps because they were starving.
The beauty is if everyone leaves, you still plough on. That shows you've got good commitment to your craft. So they can stay if they want. We're here for ourselves.
It's more the fact we've got no lives and we've got fuck all else to do.
We passed the watershed yet? Can we swear?
Or not even. It's usually me that drops the swear before the watershed as well. Mike, you put a penny in the box.
I will. Oh, imagine that. Imagine that with a swear box on the.
I think we do a swear box and an innuendo box, because every week there's some sort of innuendo that seems to appear as well.
It appears.
I'm itching to say something. Carry on.
I've just seen if we've missed any chat, so I'm going to come back. Jeremy Watt says we won't tell anyone. I think that's alluding to the new 10A variant. We won't tell anyone if you happen to come back around to that one. Willis is asking, could you tell us how the move to the new distillery is progressing?
And
at the end,
so the things I can say just now is this is Plan A. Speyside Distillery will cease distilling in December this year, and I think we have got 3 or 4 months to decommission. That's for that distillery. The new one, I don't know much about. I think I know we've got plan permission, but that's all I know. I don't get told very much because I talk too much. So essentially, mushrooms kept in the dark. And
so I guess because it's the Speyside Distillery, but the brand is Spey.
No, Spey will be fine. So Spey, the brand will move, no problem at all. So, and we've got lots of stock. So your Spey from Speyside Distillery will be going for many years. Mm-hmm. It will eventually change to Spey from Speyside from X Distillery. So it might change. You're talking like 6 7 years from now.
All that is still safe.
Yeah, I say it's more pertinent for cask owners at this point, where from December there will be no cask heads with Speyside Distillery on it from December. Right. So that's where your Speyside Distillery cask will be like one of the last. But yeah, Spey started before they had a distillery, and it'll keep going with a new distillery. So Spey was a bottler blender before.
Yeah.
They bought a distillery in 2012.
Taiwan, was it Taiwan? It was somewhere in Asia.
Taiwan was the biggest market. It's still the biggest market for us. Yeah. So I don't know if anyone's been to Taiwan. Spey is quite prominent there. I believe I've never been myself, but yeah, I believe it's quite prominent. So yeah,
actually, like because it's all bottles as well, isn't it? It's because it's tradition to gift in tall bottles. Or
I'd assume so. Yes, I think it's definitely designed for that market first of all, and then that's why it maybe doesn't fit our small Scottish shelves. But yeah, you find if you go into a lot of shops, you find Spey. Apart from your Euro shop, which you built a custom built shelf, which is very nice. Most places have it on a barrel top, bottom shelf, top shelf. So yeah, the height is definitely.
I always thought it was to make the bottles look normal than Paul Dempsey's hands.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
The rebrand with yourself might have had a slightly shorter bottle, but it wasn't to be.
I mean, when I started, I used to get people commenting about the bottle size all the time, but now I think I think new distilleries have to make such weird and wonderful bottles now to stand out. I mean, I always look at like places like Harris or Lockleigh, who've had to make quite quirky bottles to stand out. So I think 10 years ago our bottle was quite extreme, but now I don't think it's that extreme. I think it's like you kind of have to be a bit different to stand out these days. So yeah, I'm quite happy the bottle. I wouldn't change it now, even.
I don't think you need to no. Because there's other like Daft Mill is an oversized bottle as well, and people love that. So
I thought Rare Find was the same height or Bimber, but we're taller on both of them, I think. So yeah. I think anyway. Maybe taller on Bimber, which I thought were the same size as Bimber, but actually taller on Bimber.
I think you're that bottle cap over Rare Find.
You have to do like a measure off and see. We'll have to get the measuring tape out and see who's got the biggest bottle. See the champion bottle.
Couldn't resist, Cat.
It was that pause. You knew what you were doing there with that pause, didn't you?
What? Oh, couldn't resist it, and I've not had any dinner, and I've just drank some whiskey, so I'm just gonna get a double entendre in there before the end of the night. It is a lovely bottle, though. It does stand out. It's quite a good like gift bottle. See, if you want something a bit fancy, but like you don't want folk to know you haven't spent that much money, it ticks that box, doesn't it? Like I like you, I don't like you that much. You get a good whiskey, it's in a nice bottle, but I'm not spending £100. So I think it takes.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's. Yeah, I've got no problems with the bottles. I mean, I can see. As I said, I think there's so many. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some. You probably know more quirky bottles yourselves, but the one that comes to the new Harris one is definitely like a wee bulb, isn't it? It's kind of quite textured.
Yeah, you couldn't set a lot of those side by side.
Lockleigh's, is it something to do with tractors? Is that tractor tires or something?
You've got tractor tracks up the side.
So everyone's having to really think, really push the boat out for quirky bottles, and I don't think it's that unusual anymore.
Rassie's got that beautiful fossils imprinted into the glass.
Rassie, yeah.
That's a really good.
Look at all the new distilleries that they've all had to, or most have had to, make a quite extreme bottle. I think Ardnam Merkin's probably the exception. They've got quite a normal bottle, I'd say. But again, that's maybe they are in their plans to do that. But yeah.
Here's a question, Andrew. I never thought I'd ask a guest. If you were a whiskey bottle, which bottle would you be?
That's an awesome question.
I think I would. The Arran Altmore shape. I like that one. I think that kind of. I don't know what the name of it is. It's kind of.
It's almost torpedo shape. It's like a double torpedo.
Yes, I like that. I like the big cork.
Yeah,
I like the big cork. And yeah, I like that. I'd probably say if that'd be my choice. Or if I was,
bottle would you be like?
I don't know. There's not one.
First rule of asking questions: have your answer ready.
Yeah. Is there one that just like sticks out at the front, like goes down and just has a big little pot belly? I don't think there is there?
Jura? No. the old Duras.
I don't have the shoulders for a Jura bottle. I don't have that broad. Looking for inspiration behind me here. Let me think about it. Let me think.
Your question.
I know.
Is that
It
Dimple?
just came through Albert. Mike Dimple. Yeah, I'll be a Dimple bottle. That'll do. Dean and Dominic on Facebook and YouTube at separate times. So it might be Dimple. There we go. I was thinking maybe antiquary. A little bit edgy.
Was it antiquary? I thought I was Dimple. You pulled it, yeah.
Are you classing yourself as edgy, Mike?
Edgy, yeah. No, definitely not. I don't know.
Do you know what?
I probably do this one. You know, the one that everyone does. It's just a little bit orderly and plain.
I think that's called a tall round, isn't it? Is that the kind of technical term? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's all about the label. So it's how I dress rather than what's underneath.
Yeah, to be honest, I always think when you see a tall round, it's somebody who's then focusing on other things, I would say. So that's your kind of default bottle, isn't it? So
yeah. There we go. I'll go with that.
A tall round? Wow.
Tall round.
That's uninspiring.
Uninspiring, tall and round. That's my life. That's me. That's
a good label. Is that your answer?
That's the new independent bottling range I'm bringing out.
Uninspiring.
Uninspiring by Mike.
That should be your cologne, your eau de toilette. Uninspiring by Mike.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Kat, how about you then?
And what would it smell of? Oh, what would my bottle be? I think it has to be something short. Just a little, like a miniature. That's my bottle, to be honest. I don't know.
It's a really strange answer, to be honest.
I'm very short, so I think it'd have to be something short. I don't know.
Like a 50
or maybe
scale. Like a little brown dot, like a little one of these.
Like a little brown cat. That'll be me.
Well, the bigger version of that is what I was that kind of thing.
Side by side.
Well, they do bigger ones as well, right?
Yeah, so everything they do now is 70s. We always manage to get a shameless plug for a Little Brown Dog in the Blether somehow. So
we should be on commission from them.
I think that the Devon, I think that's very similar shape to your Arran, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not a fan of the tinted or the frosted glass, I have to say.
Yeah, but it's just the shape, I think. The shape of it is similar to what the Arran has. Just not the wide top.
It's pretty though. Like the blue glass reminds me of all the sea glass. It's very pretty.
Sea glass, yeah.
You know, it's always exciting when you find a blue bit on the beach. You're like, oh, blue. I don't know what you pick it up and you don't know what you do with it, but it's exciting because it's blue. Where do all the broken teacups come from as well? Like, why do you always find bits of broken pottery on the beach? Like, who was having a tea party in the middle of the ocean in the Napoleonic War? Like, get your priorities sorted. Why is there so much broken teapots and plates on the beach? If anybody knows anything about it.
That's a question for Mike, I think. Definitely, I have no idea.
I'm not exactly a sailor. Sinking cruise ships, maybe? I don't know.
Well, I know, but there would have been a lot, surely. I mean, there's a lot of pottery on the beach. I mean, that's a serious... Well, anyway, if anybody knows anything about beaches and pottery, then, you know...
I mean, pottery goes back a long time, so, you know, it might be places that were flooded with global warming, for all we know.
Like tea shops have just been flooded out with global warming.
There's Anglo-Saxon tea. You used to set up next to rivers and stuff. It was on a floodplain, but they didn't know. It was a floodplain. It was a disaster.
I've always wondered though, like, where's all the pottery on the beach come from? I get the bottles, I just don't get all the like plates and. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Let's talk whiskey. Oh, sorry. 2 seconds. I've got a child at the door. Hang on.
Hope it's one of yours.
So I'll just say what I poured now. I went into number 2 or number 3. I took a wee boon of having for number 2 from Loch Line. I went to number 3. I went going to the 15-year-old Spirit of Speyside.
That's exactly what I've just poured as well.
Yeah, 15.
We're almost in sync.
Yeah. I was in two minds whether to go for the 18 first because I think it's a bit of a lighter whiskey, but I'll just go in age order.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this one's essentially an older Famari. So talk about Sandy. Yeah. This is one Sandy would, I think would it have predated Sandy? I'm not sure when Sandy started, but yeah. So this is basically a 15-year-old Famari. This single cask.
That's full bourbon, isn't it?
Yeah, full term bourbon. 46. So we dabbled at cask strength, but yeah, we thought it worked better at 46 because this is I believe it's the first Spirit of Speyside bottling that's not been cask strength, or it has not been in a long time. So we took the decision to reduce to 46. We thought it was just a better whiskey at 46. But yeah, game of opinions, isn't it?
It's not a massive yield either, even though it's been cut. So
that was another aspect. Was the 15 and the 18 were quite
low.
Yeah, so if we went cask strength, it was like quite. I think it'd be sub 200 would be, or close to 200, for the 18 anyway, which is quite low.
Yeah.
All the packaging and all the work you got to do to get the product up to get only 200 bottles.
Well, they're both done very well for you. Was it the Spey the 15 that won the Masters at the Whisky Masters Awards?
Yeah. So we've got a few. We always throw a few bottles in the competition. So yeah, the 15 got the Master and the 18 got a gold. But we've got a few more competitions lined up. So the Trilogia and 15 are back in a few competitions. The 18 is now sold out. From our point of view, we've got no more left. So it's obviously in your shop and places like that. But
what was left, guys? Just saying,
we don't have any left. It sold out within I think 2 or 3 days. We actually oversubscribed for the 18. So I think people love the old 18. I don't remember that one. It's like Spey 18 from 5-6 years ago. People loved that.
I had a sherry.
A sherry one. Yeah, it's a different recipe. This is again. I'll get to 18 later, but yeah, it's completely different. But completely different process or casks and completely different peating level. But turns out it's actually not that far away, which is really odd. But yeah. So yeah, this one 15-year-old peated, but yeah, classic Speyside PT. So it's ppm. So it was originally 20 ppm, I think. So, but it's still got a fair old peat hit to it, I think.
Yeah. But it's that nice and woody cigar leaf kind of peat, isn't it? It's certainly mainland. It's
very soft on the lips. I always think Spey's great on the lips. It's never aggressive on the lips. So you always get really soft lips, and then it starts on the palate. But
yeah, it's like toast. There's a nice kind of creaminess to it, and there's that kind of crisp edge. There's that.
Do you say buttered toast? Yeah, that's a great shout. Buttered toast. Yeah, great shout.
It's a lovely.
Slightly overcooked toast, like slightly on the dark side.
Yeah, just like the one that you have to scrape some of the end off to get the butter on it. But not enough that you can't eat it. It's sort of snap in your mouth. It's you still got that chew on it.
Well fired.
There's a slight savoury note in here as well. It's not, sometimes the bourbon cask could be too sweet and it conflicts. But this is I just think it's a really well balanced, not overly complex. It's just a nice sipper. It's one that you can sit back, stick on the telly and really enjoy.
That's, I think, Spey generally is just always very well balanced whiskies. That's definitely, we don't really, well, they haven't before my time, and certainly not since I've been there. They haven't gone for any sort of extreme. I think the most extreme thing we do is maybe the cask strengths, like extreme alcohol. But I would say all the flavour profiles are quite central. There's nothing like.
Yeah, and you do have the Bendu, which is pretty extreme port.
Bendu is like that's a different story. That was created before the distillery, so that was created with other people's whiskey originally, and then
is it Spey Liquid is in there? Is it Spey Distillery?
Yeah, since they've owned the distillery, it's been Speyside Liquid, but before that, it was created using other people's whiskey. Yes, that is I would say where the Tenne is quite a balanced port whiskey. The Bendu's definitely unbalanced, but if you like port, that's a good thing. But yeah, I would say it's very porty, very, very big nose initially in the palate as well, and it goes very softly. So it starts off. I'll say its bark is worse than its bite for the Bendu. So it's big. Starts off big, but then it's really kind of soft whiskey. But yeah, it's quite the Bendu and the Tenne side by side is quite an interesting comparison because they're essentially the same distillate, but then it's completely different. One's 43%, one's 46. One uses just Bonnie port, one uses Tawny and Ruby.
Graham Fraser has just arrived in Edinburgh for some drams. Cheers. Cheers, Graham. Great to have you on. I don't know if you're going to stick around for a wee bit while you're having your drams in Edinburgh. Let us know where you're going anyway. Everyone talks about Glasgow for drams. I always mention the Pot Still and Bon Accord and Pipers and these kind of places. You come to Edinburgh, there's not many infamous or world famous.
I would say every bar in Edinburgh feels like a whiskey bar. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Nothing that stands out because they've all got a great range. Whiskey bars are fantastic in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bow Bar's the one I whenever I was in Edinburgh, that's one I knew because it was across the road from one of the shops. So Bow Bar, and then what's the other one?
Bow Bar. That's one I've been in a couple of times. Last time was when I was down at the Whisky Academy, Edinburgh Whisky Academy, with Russell, and we went to the Bow Bar. That's a nice, because it's quite a little, unassuming, not very big, but you walk in and it's got that massive, on the right hand side when you walk in, it's just, the whiskey range is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's very whiskey bars. I always say when I'm doing my tours around Europe, and people say, I always try and say what's different between whiskey and other spirits. I always use the whiskey bars where you can walk into a whiskey bar yourself, sit down, order a whiskey, and within 5 minutes you're asking the person to the left and the right what whiskey you've got, what is it like. You don't get. I mean, can you imagine at a gin bar or something? What kind of gin you got? Yeah, whiskey's very much. I think it's a very conversational drink. It's very much community driven. So I think whiskey bars are a great place to go and get initiated if you're not into whiskey, because you'll love the atmosphere, and then you'll start to love the whiskey if you're being a bit tough with the whiskey. But yeah, I always say to new people to whiskey, going to like one of the famous whiskey bars and get one of the seats at the bar and get involved.
Speak to the staff initially, and then through that you'll inevitably start speaking to the customers. And what I love, like linking back, we kind of avoid politics, we avoid sport. Religion is the other one, because this seems to be culture nowadays. Probably social media culture rather than anything else. But if I don't agree with your opinion, then I don't like you, and that it just seems to be you're wrong, I'm right, we can't be friends kind of thing. And it's all Facebook warrior and all that type,
And I think that's when you go detach from people, when you're not talking to people face to face. People can be quite set in their ways. Well, I think if you're face to face, there's a compromise. People realise it's just a point of view. So I think
whiskey transcends that, doesn't it? It brings the person next to you in the bar could be drinking the Lefroy, and you can't stand peated whiskey. You're sitting there with a Spey Tenne, and there's just that mutual respect for it, isn't it? It's not like, I can't talk to you anymore because you're drinking something I don't like.
No, I think the people in whiskey, the people working it, the people who buy whiskey, everything involved, people that make it. I think it's great. I think as industries go, it's got to be one of the best industries all round for just the great characters, really friendly people, just a nice community. So yeah, this is half the reason why I still work in whiskey, because it's so good. I mean, how many people actually leave whiskey? There's not an awful lot. People generally stay in the industry because it's a great industry to be in, because it's just producing a world-class product, and people are so nice generally around the world. They love Scotland. They love introduce Scotland. So yeah, you definitely got a good benefit from that. But yeah, I can count I don't even really count in one hand the amount of problems you see at a whiskey event, or it's so well-natured. Generally, obviously, the odd person maybe drank too much, but there's never any sort of like aggression or. I think
I discovered that you don't remember your whiskey events, so I'm not.
I remember perfectly. I've just been kind. I can't.
You fine, Kat? You be quiet.
No, I was just sorting something, but no, I am back, and I was enjoying all the comments about sea glass. Thanks, guys. You're just like a font of knowledge. I love it. I ask a strange question, and people actually just come back with genuine, sensible answers. Yeah, it's fantastic.
What was it? What was the answer? I didn't look. Was it? There's where does all this coffee come from?
There was a couple.
Whiskey
so
Bar. I
said,
was just going to say that.
Oh, yeah,
that's what's that one called again? The Scotch Malt Whisky Society in Leith. A fantastic building. I definitely recommend that if you can somehow get in there. I think it's membership, but I'm not sure there is. But that's a cracking place in Leith.
Leith's lovely. I was there for the first time a month ago. It's a nice place.
Lismore's down in Park area, yes. So on you go, sea glass. Forget whiskey bars.
Jeremy says
important topics.
Sea glass, like priorities. Like stop talking about whiskey. Yeah. What are you on about? I've just lost where it's gone. My chat keeps moving. Do you know what? The moment's gone. Oh no, there it is. It's pretty much people just dumping it. Sounds like is the long and short of it. Which is fine. Nobody wants china teacups anyway. Like they're small, your fingers get stuck, and they don't wash well. So probably people just heaved them out and bought mugs. I think that answers the sea glass question.
So a question about other than Spey, what whiskies have grabbed my attention. I'm probably a bit dated here because it's a wee while now, but for me, the one that sticks out, I think it's because I didn't like the previous release, the Royal Brackla 12. So the big blue bottle, a big blue tube. I didn't enjoy that one. But then they brought out the Royal Brackla Oloroso 12. I thought that was a cracker. I really did. So for me, that one still sticks in my head as being one of those distilleries that was not in my not in my top list, and then it just shooting up. That's a fantastic whiskey. Several, but yeah, very much blinkered with Spey just now. It's like kind of when you work for a brand, it's like you have to kind of remember to try other whiskies. So yeah, what else is really good? I mean, going back, Aaron 10 when it first came out, I thought it was a outrageously good whiskey for the price point. And that's my kind of. That's one thing people say. Do you not like really old whiskies? I always like to go for those sort of £40 to £70 whiskies as the ones that I say I like, because I feel as though that's where the magic happens. Like for people to actually like a brand or like a distillery, they can go higher up once you like a brand. But yeah, that's where everything really happens. The entry level or the second up whiskey from different distilleries. So I've all my kind of whiskey preferences are all from that kind of range of whiskies.
Yeah, I think it's quite important that as an ambassador for any brand that you keep in touch with the guys who are doing the drinking as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
you
have to see what like you get some extreme comments. Like obviously the people are writing to their whiskey, know all the details. They will volunteer their opinion quite quickly to you, so you find out what the whiskey specialists know quite quick. It's the people who just buy the odd bottle, where they're the real gems. Like, why did you buy a bottle of Tenne? And it's like, and they say it's just a wee bit sweeter than the rest, or whatever the reason is. And it's quite good just to hear wee nuggets of information that you can keep for your next expression. You think, well, this might appeal to the whiskey specialists, or maybe not to the general public, and then the opposite, this might appeal to the general public, maybe not the whiskey specialist. So you have to do a bit of everything, really.
Yeah.
Do you find that, like, 'cause I remember from the shop, just sometimes the Spey was just not always one that people knew the name of. Do you find that you're kind of trying to educate people and kind of make them aware of you guys?
Yeah, how many times people have never heard your whiskey, but yeah, I mean that's my job, is to go out there and talk about it and promote it as best I can. So yeah. What's the harder job? Somebody who's never heard your stuff and it's really good whiskey, or
that's true.
People who tried. Oh yeah, I've tried Macallan, and people already know what or have an opinion on it. So I've always got that new angle where you can somebody I'm new to the brand, or I really enjoy what people who say I didn't like some whiskey from Spey. So you try and try and work out why they didn't like it, and try and find another expression that they think will like, and then you see their face turn when they go, yeah, that is a good whiskey. So yeah, it's always good to kind of convert people from the bad side to Speyside is okay. So I think for such a small distillery, we've got such a wide range, so it's quite. I feel as though if you like whiskey, I feel as though I can find a whiskey in our range that you'll like.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think it's not hard to be a whiskey that you haven't heard of, because I think most people are very familiar with the very big names, and even though a distillery's maybe been on the go for like 200 years or 100 years, or it's pretty well established, unless you're one of the big kind of five, a lot of folk just maybe don't know. But I guess maybe it's years of branding and marketing from the bigger companies, and the smaller ones are just having to work a bit harder, like yourself, getting out there and chapping doors and doing whiskey tastings in Stirling that you don't remember.
Yeah, but working so hard I can't remember them.
I think that branding that Spey was genius for your owner back then to kind of get that name established and get that through copyright and everything to actually have that available. Because even if people haven't heard of Speyside Distillery, Spey whiskey, you instantly know. One, if you got a bottle there, it's called Spey. You know it's a whiskey, and you know it's Speyside.
And then they buy it from Harry, and they go, "What's this? It's peated."
Yeah, and then they try it, and they're like, "Oh no." We not long opened, and so we're talking. I'd say 7 years ago, and there's a couple of friends of ours came into the shop and said, "Oh, we're looking for a whiskey for my dad," and so great. What does he like? Oh, Speyside, anything Speyside. But can we get something a wee bit different? And we're like, well, yeah, so we'll stick to Speyside. How about a Ben Romick? Yeah, cool. Forest, Speyside, sherry cask, likes a sherry cask. Brilliant. So off we go. They came back about a week later and he says, "Oh, I'm really sorry, but he hated it. It was peated." Yeah, well, he said different. He said Speyside. He said any Speyside will do. So they still remind me to this day of the Ben Romick.
Peaty whiskey is definitely something that's just so divisive. I mean, see, if you don't like peaty whiskey, people just can't even handle the idea of it. They just like hate it straight away. So,
if I'm doing a tasting nowadays, of saying to people, one, if you don't like a whiskey, tell me. I won't be offended. I don't make it, so I won't be offended. We just pick them.
Imagine you were. Imagine they said something and you just walked away. So I can't handle that. It's like too much. Cancelled.
Threw your hat down, you Philistines. Storm
But the other thing I say is, if you don't like it, it's great to know why. And it's important for us as a shop, speaking to customers, whether it's a tasting or in the shop. And I think it's also important for bartender, for whoever's doing the selling, to know why you don't like a whiskey, what you don't like about a whiskey. Because somebody could come in and say, "Oh, looking for a dram, love sherry, love space, I love cask strength. Brilliant. Here's a single cask Ben Romick, for example." Off they go. Didn't like peaties. Yeah, but you didn't tell me that. We need to know, for me as a seller, what you don't like is far more important to me than what you do like. For me to be able to guide you to the right dram.
I'd always assume they don't like peaty whiskey unless somebody says they want peat. I always say, just avoid it. It's just not worth it. It's not worth a headache for you. Just assume.
That's an example. Peat's the extreme example you can always use. But then people don't like cask strength. People don't like.
Is Ben Romick peated? I know it's peated. Is it heavily peated? Is it? I've not tried it.
It's not heavy. It's probably on a par with Fumari.
Is it?
But it's masked a little bit by the sherry influence, because Fumari's got that full bourbon. It's probably a little bit more obvious. But some Ben Romicks are up to 48 ppm. If you're saying Fumari is about 20.
20, yeah.
It's
not
weird
all of
though.
them.
Like the 60s and 70s, that's all people wanted was peated whiskey. It's pretty much like all that was made. And now we're to the stage where like nobody wants it. Like, well, not nobody wants it, but people are quite anti-peated whiskey. It's like, where's that come from?
I think it's been quite consistent. I think there's about 10-15% that love it, and then the rest absolutely hate it. So I think it's been, for me, it's been quite, what's that, 1 in 5 people are peaty, and the rest are, I don't know, maybe it's just people I'm talking to, but yeah, I feel it's been quite a consistent ratio over the years, but definitely, gift buyers, definitely in shops, because people who like peated whiskey know what they're buying. I say for your general shop purchase, it's almost always aim for unpeated. I'd say
the chances are people who like peated whiskey will also like unpeated, where it's not always the other.
Yeah, that's true.
Willis says we know his thoughts on peat. He wasn't the biggest fan of peat. We bored him down in 2 Highland Whiskey Academies, and now he tolerates peated whiskey. He said he doesn't enjoy, he tolerates it. But he's now off to finding Ardmore to have a wee. So Ardmore is in Willis's class. Dominic on YouTube, talking of big names, he read a quote today about Glenlivet being the longest glen in Scotland in respect of all the distilleries using the name historically. That's quite cool. Because everyone got on to Glenlivet name, didn't they?
Yeah, quite a lot had was it Braes of Glenlivet as well? Was that a closed distillery as well? Yeah.
Braes of Glenlivet is Breval. Independent bottle form is Braes of Glenlivet.
I didn't know that. That's school day. Every day's a school day. Perfect.
Everyone learns something new.
I know that.
On the Blether, that should be our tag.
On a similar theme, Old Pulteney. I didn't realize Old Pulteney is a brand name. It's actually Pulteney Distillery. I didn't know that until recently as well. So Old Pulteney is just a brand.
Yeah, I did know, but I completely forgot that. Yeah,
I didn't know that
because you get independent bottlers will come from Pulteney Distillery, it won't be Old Pulteney. It'll be Pulteney Distillery. Yeah.
When you look at it, of course it's a brand name, and who calls something old? When it's first built, it was like brand new. It's like can't be called Old Pulteney. So yeah.
There you go. Dean oh, you go.
Breval since 1994, right?
Yeah, I think Braes of Glenlivet originally, perhaps, and then Breval was the name change. Is that off the back of the Glenlivet agreement, where the folk decided not to use the name? But if you get Braes of Glenlivet in independent bottle, I think that's their independent. There's not many Breval. I think Gordon MacPhail will use Breval. Maybe not too many others.
Remember Hunter Lang used to have single casks of Breval back in the day in the whiskey shop, but that's the last time I think I've seen it. I've not seen it since. Mm-hmm. Have you seen the ppm there for Ben Romax, 67 and 55? Yeah. Wow, that's absolutely massive.
Yeah, so the peat smoke, that's obviously the higher peat ones. They do contrast editions which are higher peat level. So Rebs are a fountain of knowledge. He's been coming and joining us for a few weeks now, and always learn something from Reb, which is great.
I think he may be right with that last point as well. I think everything was peated back then, and then it changed to unpeated. I think everything back then was was it sherry, and then bourbon became the more prevalent cask as well. So sherry was, and now sherry's seen as an extra cask, but it was the original cask. I can't remember exact detail, but yeah, it's things you expect the reverse of. You didn't expect peaty whiskey to be the standard and sherry cask to be standard back in the day, but I think it was.
Yeah. And peat was just the fuel we had, wasn't it?
Who figured that out? That's what I want to know. Like, who dug up some mud and dried it out and burnt it? I'm like, what's going on there? How did they know?
That's a good point as well. Like, what was the whole process?
This is me absolutely guessing and trying to use a little bit of logic, which is going to be scary. But wouldn't they have used mud back in the days for building houses as kind of almost a clay?
What, and then like next door burned down? Like, Jesus, that's flammable.
Yeah. Like over time, they would dry up, and then the building would fall down. Then discovered fire.
Next door, we're cooking that rabbit, and it just went up in flames. To get that mud off the wall right now.
No, that is the best reasoning I've heard for how it's possibly come about. That is excellent. I'd run with that. That's good.
Sometimes logic. Yeah.
Is there any other turf in the world that burns like peat? Is it like a unique thing? I haven't even thought about that. I was like, I'm thinking there's like mud huts like in the Amazon or something, or so. I don't know. Well, this is tangent time, so now we're going to.
We'll need to get Mike back on with his Mike Billett, because he wrote his book on peat. I hope he's not watching and thinking, wow, that's
my life.
3 people that need an education. But no, it's interesting. Maybe it must be to do with like the root content and stuff inside it, because surely not all mud has just got that amount of organic content in it. Mud's just mud, but like peat's not really.
I'm sure peat's to do with the. I'm sure it's got like. So this is maybe my 5th year science coming. Hydrocarbons, and I'm sure it's got like actual fuel in the. This is really bad. In the mud. But yeah, I think it's just the roots. I don't think it's just the roots. I'm sure it's not just the roots. I'm sure it's the actual substance of peat or the mud or whatever you call it. I don't know. Anyway, this is getting clipped up. This is getting clipped and put in TikTok and shambles.
I know. 3 whiskey guys talking nonsense on mud.
It's probably not technically mud. It's some other substance.
We had more
style of mud. It's good for the environment. And
we had more knowledge about ice cream than we did about peat, which is quite worrying, considering the industry we're in.
I deal with the end users, not how it's made so much.
Tastes good. That's all we need to do.
I still but to go back to peat, I love the peat smoke. Any peaty whiskey, especially the Islay peaty whiskies, takes you back to the piers in Islay. I think it just takes you back. I think that's the thing about whiskey as well. The aromas take you back to places. I think that's a really good point about why people I love just sitting and you get a great whiskey and just nosing it. You don't even want to drink it because it smells so good, and it just takes you back to wherever or some sort of memory or some sort of story. So yeah,
no, that's
the peat smoke is
everyone's got that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, everyone's got that one story, isn't it? Like a favorite dram and why. You know, it's like where they were. It was like on a beach, or it was on holiday, or it's like, you know, at a wedding in a hip flask, and it just links a nice memory. But yeah, no, it's a lovely thing about whiskey.
Yeah, definitely.
Dominic spotted a nice a good comment there. So peat,
amateur coal, nice, I like it.
Because obviously we're looking after the peat now because it absorbs carbon, and that makes sense. The longer the carbon's in the ground, it'll develop into coal. But you're talking a long time for that to happen. Is it 10,000 years for 1 centimetre of peat?
1 metre is 1,000 years, isn't it? It takes 1,000 years to
centimetre for 1,000 years.
What's that?
I thought it was 1,000 years for a centimetre and 10,000 for a metre.
I'd gone for Mike's. I think it's like actually a centimetre. That sounds more realistic. But
a centimetre for 1,000 years.
I think it takes millions of years. I'm sure it takes. I think it's dinosaur times, isn't it? Like I don't know. This is. We should just pause the video, go and Google some stuff, and come back on.
It's mental.
You just have Google next to us. I have what's her name? How it sits under Alexa. You can have her sitting next to you and just go mute. Alexa,
what's her name? You just like called her out like she's a real person. What's her name? Oh, Alexa.
You just turned my Alexa on. Alexa off. That's power. What could I ask your Alexa to do? That's interesting. It's a very well behaved Alexa. I won't do any silly commands.
Okay. Do you see say please and thank you to Alexa when she does what she's told?
No, but the kids sometimes ask what tell me a joke and stuff like this, like all sorts of crazy stuff. It's like, yeah, I just put it on the radio. Alexa, play this radio station. Alexa, off. That's all I do. They ask it. They go through spells of asking lots of strange questions, but that's
certainly giving the impression merely in the house for the kids.
Was that?
You're giving off the impression she's purely in the house for the kids.
Well, to be honest with you, anything to keep their attention span is well worth it. So no, it's good, but you go back 5 years and you go, where did all these things come from? Like these Alexas and yeah.
I've seen, honestly, God, I've seen myself sitting, and me and Tony will be in the living room, we'll be watching the telly, and I'll be on my phone or doing some work, and she'll say, Alexa, what's the time? And I'm like, I'm right here. I'm clearly on a device that could tell you the time. See if I can ask this little robot in the corner what the time is, purely to avoid speaking to me. I'm sure it is.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Willis has used Alexa for much more entertaining things. You have to ask her to fart. Surely she wouldn't fart. Surely she would.
Got a wife, I don't need to ask Alexa.
10 years for 1 centimetre form? Was that all? That seems pretty fast.
I'm telling Mike.
I am, Mike.
I am telling, Mike. Telling on you. Oh yeah, 10 years for 1 centimetre to form. So wait, does that not make my maths more accurate than your maths?
Yeah, you're right. I think.
Let's just enjoy
that. I'm surprised by that. That seems really short.
I don't know Tony Evans, and I don't know his credentials on this. So he's telling me I need to know what his credentials are.
If you don't believe what you say, attack him personally.
He seems like a very intelligent, sound human being with good knowledge.
So 10 meters for 1 centimeter, which it's still a long time.
It is a long time, but you are just waiting for, moss and stuff to grow and decompose, and that's my knowledge. I don't know I don't know the rest of
it. We've got Phil Fraser with a great comment here. Lots of distilleries added Glenlivet to the name of their whiskies until early 1800s when the new Excise Act came out and George Smith took out the right to call Glenlivet Distillery. I think it took up to the 1980s. I think, to stop having the label. And he's saying a meter for every 1,000 years. Repeat.
That's isn't that what I said?
It's just on a bigger scale.
Did I say 10,000?
I think it's the same as 10 years for a centimetre, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's 1,000 years for a metre. Is that right? 100? Yeah.
So it's pretty much just...
They're arguing about the same thing.
Confirming what I said again.
It's easy to see where because if people use 10 meters for 1,000 years or 1 centimeter or 10 years, it's easy to get too confused.
I mean, we're just pretty much confirming I was right twice there, though. Either way around.
Going back to the Glenlivet thing, I don't ever think it was brought into force by law. I think it's still very much a gentleman's agreement that the other distilleries just won't use it. I think they got the right to say the Glenlivet in the late 70s rather than just Glenlivet. And the other ones just said, well, okay, we'll stop using it. And that was the start of Speyside. I think that's what led to Speyside being... Because I heard somewhere quite recently that Speyside has only officially been a place or officially recognised since 2014. Which kind of not scared me, but surprised me very much.
Is that recognised by like map people or recognised by
as a region, as an official? Because am I not right in thinking there's only Isla, Highlands, and Lowlands are official regions. The other two, the Campbelltown and Speyside, are just protected areas or protected names. They're not. If you're going technically, I don't think they're whiskey making regions because they're sub-regions of the bigger ones. And I don't think we officially have 5 regions. I think we have 3 regions and then 2 protected
principalities.
Or whatever the official wording is. I might be wrong on that. I'm sure Dean, who's still watching, might know that,
or Jeremy was on. He knows a lot of. He's our encyclopedia.
Yeah, we didn't get Jeremy on as a guest. That would be cool.
So Speyside. They said Phil saying Speyside was originally Highlands. Yeah, so we are quite close to Dalwhinnie, and I think the new Gordon MacPhail distillery, the Cairn distillery. I'm sure that's a Highland distillery as well. So we're right in amongst it. But as far as I know, you can. It's a bit of a grey area where the Speyside, I think you can decide yourself. Is that right? The distilleries can. So I think there's some distilleries in Speyside that still call themselves Highland distilleries. So,
Macallan, Dalwhinnie, all still class themselves as Highland.
I would say it's like an elastic band. Just pull it around the back of yourself, and it's like you're in Speyside. So I think we're next to the Spey. I don't know, side of the Spey. I don't know. It seems we are Speyside. The rest of them are in trouble up there. But I don't know. Yeah, the regions are. I think they'll have to look at that because I think there's now 170 odd distilleries now in Scotland, or is that roughly? Is that grain and malt? I'm not sure.
It will be soon. I think whiskies with whiskey released, I think we're still sitting about 150.
Whiskies with whiskies released, and then but the thing is, I think I'm gonna have to look at the regions and make a bit more. Because Glengoyne's the same region as Highland Park in Orkney, so that's mental, isn't it?
You have to create more regions or do away with them. One of the two.
Oh, I can't do away with them. How do we pinpoint what we're talking about? Yeah, I can't get rid of them. This is a Scottish whiskey. Nah, I like the regions. I like the idea of the regions, but yeah, I don't think you can get rid of them.
You don't think it's getting a bit too marketing there? It's all about marketing. The regions.
But I think it helps people get a foothold in what's going on. So it gives an idea of what they like. I like this. There's a rule of thumb. I like Speysides. I don't like Islays or the reverse. And it means that once they know, they can change. But
somebody comes in and says, I don't like Islay. Give them a Bruichladdich or a Bunnahabhain and say,
that's step 2, step 3, step 4. Originally, it's not a bad rule of thumb. Just like, yeah, I hate Islays, that's fine. But I don't think you can get rid of them. I think that's a worse situation than now. But yeah, I totally agree. There's so many examples where there's two whiskies in the same region that are completely polar opposites. I can't think of one right now, but yeah, I'm sure there is. Ben Romack and like Macallan, I'm guessing, is like pulls apart.
Yeah. But you get polar opposite whiskies from the same distillery.
Yes.
Ben Rea, Tom and Towel, Mull, Tobermory, these guys do peated and unpeated. They're still in the same region.
This will drive you to drink this. This is
yeah.
I know. This is in depth.
So on the drink, I moved on to 18 now, so that's me on the 18th. I guess we segue into the new whiskey.
Yeah.
So this one's a peated whiskey as well, but it's so. I think it's so. Have you got a bottle open there, or is that the 15? No,
I took the Trilogia and the 15. I don't have.
This is the sample size I've got, so I don't have a bottle open either. But I'll try and send you some because I know you got. It sold out too fast for us to really, because it was planned to be in lots of tastings and things. It just sold out far too fast. So yeah, we kind of get caught in the hole.
Don't send it to Mike. He's still got my samples from 2 weeks ago.
You think? I've still got them?
Oh, you better had. I know where you live.
I think you were fighting with a gazebo, so I didn't leave.
God. Fighting with an angle grinder and a gazebo on a 5-star golf course. I don't know a lot about golf either, apparently. Golf course. The only way we could get it down was with an angle grinder. So, like, if we had to be quiet every time the people came to do their
shot.
Thank you. We had to stop grinding so they could concentrate. I'm like, you're hitting a ball with a stick. Come on. But no, we managed to cut it up into pieces. So yes, that's why I missed my my samples. But I'm going to come for them at some point. So you can't trust them; they'll just disappear. I think I need to learn more about sport. I've suddenly discovered that my sport knowledge is quite limited, especially in Aberdeenshire. Everyone plays golf up here. I should know a little bit about golf. But yeah, I'll put that on the list of things to learn. Yeah.
So what are you drinking? What's in the glass outside the space?
15. So I'm going to turn around and have a look. I'm now toying with an Ardmore because Willis has planted that seed.
Willis is.
He's influenced you. Do you know what you should have open is chapter 3 in recognition of the fact that it's now on the news.
We've opened a can of worms with this region chat. The chat's gone wild.
Oh, well.
Glengoyne's a crazy one because it's got the distillery in the Highlands and the warehousing in the Lowlands, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit. So, but what do they class themselves as a Lowlands one?
I'm sure it's a Highland whiskey. Yeah.
It's a Highland.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's classed a Highland, but technically in my opinion, and I think I'm right in thinking this, it should be a lowland because it's not whiskey until it's been 3 years in the lowlands. So it turns into whiskey in the lowlands. So I would, but spirit is created in the Highlands. But again, I guess if they want to change, they could change.
Yeah, I think they could. I don't know. Could they change the road? You do have to cross a road to go to the warehouses, so it's on the I'm guessing south side of the road. So
that's the difference between somewhere like Glengoyne and Speyside, where Speyside came later. So these Highland distilleries were already Highland distilleries, and I guess they've stuck with it because the style of the spirit. Because the Highland, the Macallan, and the Farquhars are pretty robust. They're not typical Speysiders. Dalwhinnie is a little bit different because Dalwhinnie is quite elegant, and you could taste that and think that's actually very Speyside-esque.
I think marketing-wise, Highland's definitely got, well, maybe not, maybe it might change in years to come, but Highland's definitely got a better name than Lowlands, I think. For
Lowlands, they're on the up now, though.
Definitely.
Ben Marnish just gave me the phrase that I was looking for: protected localities.
Nice.
So Campbelltown and Speyside are both protected localities. The other ones are regions. No.
Dominic, no, we cannot call Lowlands ladies' whiskies. Definitely not. I don't think we should ever have called Lowlands ladies' whiskies.
Oh, Dominic.
I think whiskey's kicking in. Some raw comments coming in.
I've never heard Lowlands called lady whiskey, and it's giving me the ick a little bit as well. I'm going to pour myself a lady whiskey.
I am gonna slight protection to Dominic here, but we've all heard the phrase ladies' whiskey, and we've had that thought. Whereas if somebody new to whiskey, you give them something light and elegant. You must have heard of ladies' whiskey. You're like, Mike, I'm going to kill you. And
I have, because it's a term that I hear quite a lot, and a lot of Europeans still use it, and they'll come into the distillery and say, would you class this as a ladies' whiskey? I was like, well, if you're a lady and you're drinking it, then yes, I would class that as a ladies' whiskey. But
whiskey for ladies, the lady rather than,
Yeah, I think that was probably a marketing thing at one point. Probably it was described as a good, ladies' whiskey potentially. But I think after women were granted the right to vote, we probably moved away from terms like that.
Lowland's such a mixed bag, I find. From what you got, what's it called? Auchentoshan, Bladnoch, and Loch Lee now. So it's quite a mixed bag of styles. So
there is actually, isn't there? It's quite.
It's definitely the region with the most room to grow. Definitely.
And being central as well, it's got a great route to market. Big tourism kind of impact. It's although there's not huge peat influences in the lowlands. As yet, I know Loch-Lee do peat cask. They use ex-Isla cask.
Plus, I get John's doing a lot of the stuff there. So yeah, I'm guessing you have a lot of.
There'll be a clue to which distillery they get the ex-Isla casks from.
maybe.
But there's not very many peated core ranges from the lowlands. I think that's only.
Yeah, Annandale as well. Annandale's that? Is that smoky?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they do both.
And then you've got Borders. I've never tried it. I've never tried info. I don't know if it's out. Is Borders, have they got a whiskey released?
The R&B guys, is it Borders?
Not sure. Borders Whiskey Distillery. Borders Whiskey Distillery. I think it's called that anyway. There's so many, honestly. Even in the industry, trying to keep up with all the changes is it's incredible. Like, you just can't believe how many distilleries are popping up every few months. Like, wow, where did that come from? Yeah,
I'm coming back to. I'm just looking at some of the comments that have come up since our ladies' whiskey.
Yeah, that's a grenade.
I guess we stick with breakfast whiskies then.
Yeah, breakfast whiskey is a great term. I think it's a really good. I use that all the time. And it's just a good way of just saying inoffensive, but yeah.
Yeah.
I always think breakfast whiskey is usually a term used for your first whiskey of a tasting. I always think the first whiskey of a tasting always gets a really, like, it's hard to be the best whiskey of the night, because it's generally from people who have not had whiskey that night. So that's the first whiskey they've had. And it's quite obviously from no whiskey to the first whiskey, it's quite a steep incline. And then I always think the first whiskey takes a hit for the rest of the tasting.
Yeah, it's almost like you're using that as a palate cleanser, or because they could have had a couple of beers or a meal before they walk in, and you're using that. And quite often I'll try. It's quite hard to do, but you try and put something in that's just going to ease everyone in. So maybe a 40% or a full bourbon cask, something.
So yeah, our Trattina is usually our first one off the bat, and I think it's a great whiskey, but it just it basically leads to people loving the later ones more because it's set them up nicely. But yeah, the Trattina generally, whenever it's first in a tasting, when we do the votes at the end, it only ever wins out when it's a really hot and humid day or sunny day. So when it's really like summery day, the Trattina is a winner because it's just so clean. And then the rest of them are a bit heavier on those sort of days. You maybe wouldn't normally drink whiskey on a sunny day, but yeah, Trattina kind of actually works well. But yeah, I always find where a whiskey goes in a tasting quite interesting, and the reaction of how people sort of perceive it. But yeah, breakfast whiskey usually gets a hard time, but it's actually a crucial part of the whiskey tasting experience.
We've got a couple of guys commenting. We've got Jeremy and Reb and Phil all commenting at home. So thanks very much, guys. Saying Borders have got their blend out just now. It's a blended whiskey with their own malt, but no single malt yet. So they must be almost there then.
But yeah, the Lowlands is definitely primed to be the most room to grow. As I said, I think it's definitely got a lot of potential.
Look it through. So we've got.
What is this, man? Jeez, strain your whiskey through porridge oats. What is going on?
Where are we there?
The very bottom comment, the most recent comment.
A camping trick was to strain your whiskey through porridge oats for a bit of body and flavour around the campfire, then making up the whiskey soaked with oats. Porridge, Okay. Interesting. So you would take. Are you, Dominic, on YouTube here? You talking camping as in when you're in the Scouts, or are you talking camping way before maturation was a thing, and this is a way of putting flavour into your whiskey?
Are we discussing Dominic's porridge oats quote?
Yes.
Huh. I have not seen this before. So, hang on. Strain your whiskey through porridge oats for a bit of body and flavour around. So you want the body. Oh, right. So like porridge oats, like you can, like when you put water through them, it's like milk, isn't it? Because it's really good for putting in the bath if you've got eczema. So it's like that. I guess makes your whiskey a bit thicker, and then you've got nice tasting oats in the morning for your breakfast. What? I've never heard of that before.
So taking down the tent and driving home is to have some whiskey infused porridge, I suppose.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, like Bros.
Yeah, like Bros, or I think that's what he's written there. But like,
whenever I go home from school, and then when my granddad died, my granny came and lived with us. So I would have been still in primary school, so 6, 7, 8, that kind of age. And he used to always come home to a bowl of Bros. My granny would always make my Bros for.
Oh,
really loved it.
That's lovely.
I need to make. I probably haven't had Bros since she died.
I can't think what Bros is though. Is it with?
It's effectively uncooked porridge.
Okay. I don't think I've ever had Bros. When me and Tony went out to Isla for work, every morning we were staying at the Harbour Inn, and we had porridge with like cream, just like a spoonful of cream on top of it. It was so yummy. Like probably not a healthy breakfast, healthier than the cooked breakfast, but like sea porridge with a wee spoonful of cream and honey, so yummy. I bet whiskey, I suppose.
Yeah, it's everyone's Saturday morning sort. So on a Friday night when you come home, or a Saturday night when you come home from the pub, get the porridge oats out, just get a sip, pour some whiskey through it, and then in the morning you're going to have the banging bit of porridge.
There's going to be so many people.
He's making cornflakes that burst into flames. Porridge and whiskey, and just goes.
Don't leave it on a low heat over the hob.
Yeah, that's there you go. Maybe it's like a new sort of like hangover cure, like hair of the dog. Just strain your whiskey through some porridge oats and have it in the morning.
The temptation is there.
It is, isn't it? You know, when I worked for an estate on the West Coast, the laird's wife used to put all her fruit for steeping the mulled wine into a gusset of a pair of tights. So potentially, take your tights off after a Friday night out, fill it with porridge oats, strain your whiskey through it, banging.
Don't give Dean any ideas for the new release.
Right off as well.
The new Miami David.
The gusset release. Release the gusset. There you go. That's what it should be called. I think we've come up with some great ideas tonight. I feel like we should have been writing some of these down.
Yeah, great's a strong word, I'd say. You have some ideas. Not sure these are going to get past the second stage, I have to say, of planning.
Well, you know, though, but like inspiration comes in like, you know, all sorts of forms. So
well, I always say this, you only get good ideas from saying lots of bad ideas. So you don't really have if you don't just say bad ideas, you don't have a kind of reference point when you actually get a good idea. So I do like bad ideas. Like, I think it's very important for, especially when making new products. I think some really bad ideas are always good to kind of discuss and then go, that's a really bad idea. Then it's great to kind of, it gives you a good reference when you get a good idea. So.
That's true. That is true. You need a start point and an end point. We're not saying that, you know, porridge gusset whiskies are bad. It could be the new sort of Christmas liqueur, but we'll pencil it in. Just needs a bit more work.
Dee's got a great comment there. We're going to call it the bear of the dog. As in the bear barley.
Oh, yes. That's very clever. Took a minute there. That was a bit too clever. It took me a minute to figure out where beer was coming.
He's obviously not drinking tonight. He's obviously not got a dram. To come up with that too quick.
Yeah. Although everybody comes up with, we've got quite a diverse range of people who watch. They always come up with some very clever ideas for us. It's
yeah, the chat's been fantastic. It's really knowledgeable for one. They kind of say, no, you're talking rubbish there quite a lot. So yeah, they've called us out a few times, but yeah, the chat's been really good.
They are good. They're a great wee little community. What were we calling them? The blethering. What were we calling them? Bletherings.
Blethering.
Or bletherings. Yes. We're getting them merch.
Having a few Speys over the night. So I had the Trilogia to start. So that's a nice poster here. So that's the first one we had. Because this is the new range, so we basically brought 3 new products out in the sort of the box form rather than the tube form. So the next one was a Spirit Speyside 15-year-old. It's peated. And then this is one we haven't really touched on because I only managed to get a wee sample myself today. This lamps, but this is the 18.
That's why you're getting that out. And I'm going to say for the guys who are watching on Facebook who maybe didn't see Reb's comment, Reb has been watching us for an hour and he's just commented saying, "Did I miss the part when we spoke about Spey?" We've gone back to Spey whiskey and we're going to talk about the brand a little bit.
So that's the 18-year-olds. That's a single cask. It was peated, so it's actually from the same family of casks as the 15, but the peat's completely dissipated, and it's just a very light, fruity, nutty whiskey. So yeah, again, not only it's quite a different style. It's like so many different styles we do, but even in the same style, would become the finished product so different. So because the 15 and the 18 it should be in the same path, but yeah, completely different. Again, full term bourbon. 46%, but yeah, it's not so easy when no one else is trying apart from me. So it's good that the first 2 were there, but yeah, I need to get some samples up to Inverurie. So, yeah, the 18. It's for me, it's basically, if I'm trying to think what we've released since I've joined the last 2 years, I would say the 18 is probably my favourite. And it's kind of obvious the oldest whiskey is a favourite, but it's just a great. It's the fact that it's peated, but you can't really taste it, and it's got that kind of nutty, floral, fruity flavour you expect. It's a really cracking whiskey, really good. But yeah,
it must be nice for you from when you've joined to kind of see the release, like sort of development of the new releases coming, and then now being out there talking about it. I guess because when you started,
sorry, on you go. I keep jumping in. Sorry.
No.
What are you saying?
No, I think we've got a bit of a time lapse. But I was just going to say, obviously, when you started, it was the old bottles and sort of the Tenne and the Fumari and things. And now you're onto the new release.
So those products are still on release. So, but yeah, it was inherited a lot of expression. So, this is the Trilogy is the first one. It's not been like a single cask release. From I think I brought a 10-year-old. The first month I started, a 10-year-old came out. That was like an old Trattina style. But yeah, it's just exciting having the Trilogy and something new to talk about. But yeah, it's.
You still do the chairman's release? Is that what it's called? Do you still do that?
Which one?
Is it the chair? Is it chairman? The chairman's
choice. Chairman's choice. Yeah. So yeah, we still do that. So I always separate the expressions into two styles. We've got the global releases and the European releases. So the global releases all over the world, and that's Chairman's Choice, Royal Choice, Bendu. For me, they're all global, so they're all cater to a wider market, Asia, Europe, Americas, etc. While the European market is much more, it's all natural colour, non-chill filtered, 46% minimum, the usual kind of what Europe expects. So yeah, the 15, 18 and the Trilogy are just for Europe. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, the Chairman's Choice still going strong. Still, I think it's I can't remember the stats. Something like one of the best-selling whiskies in Taiwan still. So I don't know. It's not my side. I don't see the numbers, but yeah, it's a very popular whiskey, the Chairman's Choice and the Royal Choice as well. But in Europe, actually, slightly more mature market for their whiskey, so they want the aspects with natural colour, non-chill filtered. They like to know the cask spec, etc., etc. So slightly different market, so you have to tweak the expressions that you release to whatever market. But yeah, those products are still available in Europe. If you want them, they're still available. But it's definitely focused at a global audience. Those ones. I don't know if anyone does it. I don't know if any other brands do that, but it's something we definitely do. We definitely pick certain products for certain markets. For example, the Trattina and anything light colour doesn't really go the other way. It doesn't go into the global markets. It doesn't really sell so well. The global market still wants colour, natural or not. They still want colour. So, while Europe is much more mature, they can deal with natural colour, which is like if you've seen the Trattina recently, it's super. It's like very, very, very light gold. So. Yeah, and the 18, I don't know if it's a light suit, but the 18 is quite a light whiskey, but still, that's 18 years in bourbon, so I don't think that came out too well on the camera there. It just looked like I was swimming in whiskey.
It kind of distorts your face slightly in the middle. It's like you're underwater. That makes sense, though, to have a sort of different liquid for different markets as well. The Royal, that's to do with the connection with, was it King George or something, wasn't it? That they say that he was gifted the barrels.
So it's Byrons. Lord Byron is like a poet. It's basically an English version of Robert Burns. I'm guessing the chat will tell me I'm wrong, but that's how I pick up. It's like Lord Byron is like an English version of Robert Burns, and on his wedding he gifted the king. So also at your wedding you got gifts, but apparently not in this situation where you have to gift the king a present on your wedding. So yeah, that's the story where the original Spey came from there. But obviously the distillery that's here now wasn't built then, so it would have been a distillery in the region. I mean, that's the way I kind of translate the story.
Yeah.
But essentially, yeah. There is
got like a Latin name to do with, because it's to do with Byron, I guess. Is it?
Byron has a love of Latin, so, and also our owners like Latin as well. So and we thought nobody else was doing it as well. So I think the reason why Latin's used because a lot of the Scots Gaelic used up by other brands. So I think, to be honest with you, I'm running with it. I think it's great. I'm learning all sorts of new things about Latin that I didn't know existed. So I quite like it. And trilogy obviously is a trilogy, Latin for trilogy. So
it's like the doorway language. If you can do Latin, you can do Spanish, French, Italian, everything, isn't it?
Yeah, all the Romance languages, is that what they call them, the Romance or Romantic languages. So yeah, I think Latin's quite important for all the words that create all the words in those languages. But yeah, Gaelic makes more sense for being Scottish, but so many brands have got so much Gaelic in them now. I don't know if you probably see yourself as like there's so many expressions, but the ones that come to mind is Bunnahabhain, is it Sturidur and Sturidur? Pronunciation. There's so many Gaelic expressions out there. I just think actually having a Latin as your theme is quite cool as well, because before Gaelic, I'm sure Latin was in this region, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd imagine most people have to learn
a hot
Latin.
Take. I don't know if that's actually accurate, but I'm running with it.
Yeah, I think most people had to learn Latin at school, didn't they? And up till not that long ago, I think I'm sure my nana would have had to learn Latin. And like, I don't know, I suppose educated Scots, when they went off to, I don't know, travel the continent, they would have learned Latin and things. So yeah, it's nice to be a bit diverse.
Opening scene of Braveheart when after his dad and his brother died, his uncle comes over and says, "Do you know? Can you speak Latin?" He goes, "That's something we'll have to remedy." I don't remember that scene. Before you can use the sword, you need to learn or use your brain or something. So.
Well, the first invaders in Scotland way back was the Romans, so that's when Latin was introduced.
Ah, nice.
They were the first
that's good.
known islanders to invade, to come over and try, and then there would have been the Vikings, I suppose, and then Gaelic just became a hybrid of that.
It's like Doric became a hybrid of the Norse languages, I suppose, as well, didn't it? A bit of Gaelic, a bit of Danish, Norwegian, and a little bit of Scots created Doric, which is Phil's saying we need to get some Doric on whiskey, which I wholeheartedly agree. Is gusset a Doric word or is that an English word? I don't know. A lot of Doric words, I don't know if they're real or if they're Doric or British or English.
If you just dream them up in your little head.
In my little head.
It's not a bad shout, actually. I think that's you might find that coming in a whiskey brand soon where they go full on Doric. So it's like, why not?
What's Little Brown Dog is? What did you say their new one was? It's not Wee Brown Cow or something. Coo or Electric Coo or something. What is it? Coo's a Doric word or Scots.
Yeah, Electric Brown Coo, I think.
Yeah,
but that's because it's the Watt whiskey, Stirk. And
Stirk for the
Coo, Watt is electric, and the brown is.
God. Why did I not figure that out before? I just thought it was like a mental name because, like, why not? It actually makes sense. Oh my god!
Do you know why there was? There was the Electric Coo series of whiskies, was by Mark Watt and David Stirk. And that's why it was called the Electric Coo.
Yeah, I just never thought of that.
Because Andrew's coming with a brown dog.
That does make sense. There we go. This is cool, mate.
Well, let's just put a comment here, and I'm gonna. I think he's talking about you, Kat. All he said is interesting. That's all he said.
Do you know what? I'll take that. Like, compliments are short, thin in the ground as it is. So I'll take that, even if it's not directed to me. I'll have it.
It's better than uninspiring. That's definitely.
You've got me there.
That is very true.
I was going to say hello to Andy Stott. He's in. So Andy's got you might know him, Andrew, up at Cask and Key. He is in hello. Unfortunately, in A&E with his wife, who's taking a reaction.
Oh no!
On the mend, I think so. Yeah. As Dean says, we admire your dedication and coming in while you're sitting in the waiting room. Hopefully, everything goes well and she's on the mend. And I just want to say, Phil Fraser, who's been chatting all the way through, Phil Fraser is the whiskey tutor on Instagram, and the guy behind the Auchlosson single cask, which we just got new delivery in today. So we don't often do a wee plug for whiskies, but Phil's a great guy. It's a great whiskey, so we've got that back in. So if you have been looking for
which I still haven't tried, I'm gonna have to come over and get some.
How much whiskey do you actually try, Kat? Because every time we mention one, you're like, I haven't tried that.
I know, I know, but like, you know, I've got like a day job and children. I can't fit much more else in. When I come over to pick up my whiskey, my samples from a couple of weeks ago, I'll get a bottle of that as well, because I thought it was sold out. I thought it was gone. I didn't know how much of it was released. Was it a lot? Because this is like the second time you've had some in, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think it was I'm going to say high 200s for the cask. It was a 10-year-old Milton Duff, fully matured in Oloroso.
I will have to come and give it a go.
Absolutely. Reb is, as he's looking at whiskey base for Spey 18, and they're all sherry cask matured.
That'll be the previous one, yeah. That'll be I think it was part of the core range from 4 or 5 years ago. So it just ran out, I think. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Spey sherry cask matured. You probably know better than me, but
is the current 18 single cask? I know it's sold out with you guys. Is it a UK? Was it a UK exclusive?
Nope. It's gone to not too many countries. It's gone to Germany. No, not Germany. Sorry, Austria and Netherlands and Belgium. I think that's it. So mostly UK. So it was 270 bottles, which is about 45 cases, something around that. So it doesn't last long when you go around so many countries. Plus we've got our own shop as well that sells it, so that has been popular. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else is taking it. I think it's going to Bulgaria as well. So if you're in Bulgaria, if you're in Sofia, you're able to pick up a bottle as well. But yeah, not many countries, 3, 4, maybe 5 most, including the UK. But yeah, this one's a single cask. Well, the one on what was the website you called? Whiskey Base. That'll be the old core range 18, which I think would stop me 4 or 5 years ago. Not sure exactly, but around COVID time, I think that stopped. Before my time, I never had access to it. So, yeah, that's the old 18. There's a lot of fans at 18, and it still shows you. I think 18 is still a great age statement for people they still love buying older whiskies. Which, knowing yourself, whiskies can be great at 3 years old or whatever age, but yeah, 18 still got a very powerful marketing number. Yeah, so people love the 18.
18 and 21, people can't see past those two numbers. It's definitely something they look for.
Reb's looking for because we're talking about the current 18 being in full bourbon, so Reb's kosher. So the sherry's no use for his palate, his drinking habits. So I've just put the link in to our shop, and I know you might not get it from our shop because of the post, but I've put it in there so you know which whiskey we're talking about, and hopefully you might be able to get one on mainland Europe.
Yeah, so yeah, I've seen the prices. I think whiskey generally has just gone up in price. 18, it's a single cask, but I think at 147 it's still, I think it's mid level for 18. Would you say? I don't know. You know better than me.
It's not bad for an 18-year-old.
I think things like I think Tomatin 18s maybe are best priced 18 in the market.
It's sitting 130. What's just come out? It's 18 that we think. And
Dalmore, Talisker, they've all gone really high, haven't they? So yeah, we knew it was quite. We think it's quite a high price point for our products, but the fact it's a single cask, we're quite comfortable with it.
Anik
in today's market, I'm saying that in today's, because like everything's gone bonkers.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the customer.
I know.
There's always alternatives, though. You know, if your favorite whiskey goes too high, there's something else out there like it. You could find cheaper. You just need to go.
This is the question: is like, what do you do if you're changing from your usual whiskey? Do you go to a cheaper whiskey, or do you buy less of it, or because the prices of whiskey just generally in the market are really high. Well, people have got less spending money to buy whiskey, so yeah, it's interesting to know what the customer does in these situations because someone's got to give you the margin. Either they buy less or they buy a different product or what. But yeah, this is why the trilogy we thought we'd try and bring a product out because I think that's £55 to £60. I'm not sure exact price you've got, but we want a quality product that's best price that we can do, sort of thing. Because we are a very small distillery, we I think your big boys can turn on the taps, as they say, and produce more. But we can't really do that. So we've got a lot of costs that are fixed for us that we can't turn the taps on. Our taps are already on. So it's gonna be it's interesting to see how things shake out next year or so. But I'm seeing things for every section of the market, hopefully.
Yeah, you see it in lots of other industries as well. The oil or petrol probably being the one where it hikes immediately. They'll put the price up 50%, but then they'll drop it by 20%, and everyone's like, "Oh, great, the prices are coming down," but it's never going to go back to what it.
Prices. I don't think prices will ever go back to what they were for anything. Yeah,
I think what people are looking for is maybe a bit of stability, maybe a bit of when it does settle. And I think it is. I think cask prices. I spoke to a couple of brokers at the moment who are saying that the prices are coming down about 20%, and it's the ones who actually are fair to the customer and say, "Right, we're getting this for a better price now. We're not going to stick it at that market because the be all and end all. This is pure greed. As them keeping it at a market price rather than a fair price." And the ones who will do well and fall in favour of the customers are the ones who say, "Look, guys, we're actually going to our next 18-year-old, our next 15-year-old is going to be cheaper because costs are stabilising, and we're actually going to be able to do this for you." So it'll be interesting to see who does that and who doesn't.
Well, I think some of the big boys, some of the 18-year-old prices are like mind-boggling. Like the ones that come, Macallan's always been a high price. They've always pushed the market, but the Dalmore's one that kind of is that about £300 now for the Dalmore 18. Is it 250, 300, something like that? I don't know the exact price, but I know the Talisker jumped up in price from around about £90 to about 180. I think it doubled, didn't it? Something like that. So yeah, older whiskies are definitely jumped up in price, but all whiskies jumped up. But yeah, it is interesting times, and I think it's definitely a battle. You have to try and keep yourself affordable because if you price yourself out, then nobody's going to try your whiskey, and that's it. So you have to balance it between paying the bills and making sure people can buy your whiskey and enjoy it. But yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah, Dalmore 18, £320.
I remember when it was about £120. Maybe when I was working in the whiskey shop, that was around about £100, £120. That's
we opened in 2015, and we were getting the Glendronach 18 for
what whiskey? That was the best whiskey under £100 for a long time.
And now you double that.
How much is it now?
Well, you'd be 140, 130.
I still think that's still. I think it was underpriced for a long time. I have to say for the quality because I think it was the best whiskey.
Glendronach had that massive following, and everyone when I started following Glendronach, everyone was like, "We should be paying more. Keep it to yourself."
Yeah, take another tenner. I feel so.
Now they're paying it. They're like, "Why are we paying more for it?" It's like, be careful what you wish for, kind of moment. Yeah. Willis Peel's asking what the Glencadam 18. I think is about 130. And I think if you're below 150, you're doing well, but be prepared to pay over 100. I think that's the bracket.
I think if we brought a core range 18 out, it would be less than 147. It's because a single cask is a bit pricier. Yeah. I would say if we were bringing out an 18 core range, it'd probably around the 120 mark. I'd imagine, just out of the top of my head, just because you can bring the price down because you're making more of it. It's less the less cost per the dry goods, etc. You've got to get designed, etc. So yeah, I don't know. I think that seems to me, for me, 120 to 150 is your 18-year-old price now, with the exception of the really expensive ones. But again, the customers will vote with their wallets. So these big boys will find out. You'd imagine. The people just won't buy, won't pay. Macallan still, I'm assuming Macallan still get a market. But yeah, it's interesting to see if Dalmore still sell at 320.
Wait to see how much of Macallan's market is, or drinkers.
Yeah, Macallan's always had the secondary, the collectible market as well. So they've always had that in their back pocket for the 18. So
there's three great. So Reb, Big Pour, and Dominic have all commented on three really good. Loch Lomond, 18, £80.
Is that still 80? Loch Lomond 18 still £80? Wow.
Spey Burn, I think, is still 80, 85, maybe 90.
It's beautiful, that one.
Spey Burn 18 is a great one for people who say is age better. I always use Spey Burn as my example. I say for me the 15 is a better whiskey, but that's a game of opinions again. But I think Spey Burn 15 is a great whiskey, and another one is the Bimore. Also, the 15 is better than the 18 for the Bimore. So I always just whenever you're doing your talks and saying, "Oh, is age better? Always better?" I say there's a few exceptions, but it gives you a better chance of being better, I think. But it's not always the case.
But it shows you that if you're looking for something at under £100, there's whiskey out there. Glen Murray, I think, has got an 18. It's under £190.
Glen Murray's always a very, very well priced whiskies. It's some Glen Murrays are superb. Some of the small batch or single cask Glen Murrays are really superb.
They're always such good spice. Like the bottle your own, or like the sort of handfuls in Glen Murray are always on under £100. You know, they're always just really, really good, but really reasonable as well.
I was wondering what my next one would be, so there we go. But
are they the fourth biggest distillery by volume? Is that? I mean, they're quite under the radar. People don't realise how big they are.
Yeah, we had Dr. Cornelia Maduli from Glen Murray on about 3 weeks ago, Mike.
Well, 4 weeks ago now, because we missed last one. 3 guests ago.
I think they're definitely one of the big distilleries in Scotland. Or they used to be. Volume-wise. Yeah.
Yeah, they produce a lot, and it's actually a massive distillery. Like from the roadside, you think it's this beautiful little house, and then it just opens out into this huge site behind it. They produce a lot of spirit. It's a huge place, but such underrated whiskey. Yeah, Dominic's a fan of Glen Murray. But I think it's you see it in the supermarkets. People thinking it's good.
Remember this Dominic? That's the Chenin Blanc, the single cask. It's actually made my voice disappear.
It's so emotional about it.
Is that like an age statement, that one? I think I remember that one from...
It's 2004, distillery exclusive.
Oh, no, I don't remember. It's just the packaging looked quite similar, but yeah, that's not one I've tried, but yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I always quite like Glen Murray. I think it's just... I always think spirits or distilleries are a bit like bands. You like the like the kind of style of music they do, so you're always open to liking what else they do. So I always think... each distillery gets its own kind of style of music.
That's a good way of thinking about it. I wonder what Glen Murray would be.
Glen Murray's definitely Coldplay, definitely. Yeah.
It's Coldplay.
Yeah, you can say that any way you want. Some people say that's some dig, or people say that's quite a compliment. So yeah,
I think that's a compliment. I wonder what Dr. Cornelia. I wonder what Dr. K would think of that. I'm not sure he's a Cornelia.
Coldplay's a compliment.
Probably they headline Glastonbury every year, don't they? So they must be quite good. I don't know.
Yeah, they headline Glastonbury like 8 times. Yeah, did you say it's just the same stuff?
What?
Yeah, same over and over.
What is Speyside? What band is Speyside?
Different levels of depression in Coldplay, isn't it?
Oh no, there's that nice one. It sounds like he's playing the spoons.
I don't know. Coldplay's ones I sometimes I don't like them. Sometimes they do a good. They put on a good show. So I do watch them. They are very good. It's not my style of music, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's. I don't know why it keeps in my head. Just Coldplay. Quite a big band. I don't know. Big volumes of whiskey, big band. Distilleries as bands is quite a. There's another chat for you.
That is another chat. I feel like that could be a question for next week. Dean saying that Glenmorangie Handfuls are Coldplay mixed by Fatboy Slim. That is quite the thought. Yeah, I think that would be an interesting mix, to be honest, because Coldplay is quite slow as well, isn't it?
Yeah, like a dance remix
of Coldplay. Has it been done? It must have been done, surely. The dance remix of everything.
Yeah, it's a slow dance, but it's a dance.
I'm going to tell Cornelli that your whiskey is the perfect slow dance.
Spey, you know what I'm trying to think Spey would be. You know what popped to mind was Mumford and Sons.
That's very odd. That's banjos and stuff. What's going on there? Banjos and fiddles.
Yeah, thinking,
did you say banjos and pickles?
Fiddles. Banjos, fiddles, and pickles.
That's a band I want to be part of. Banjos and pickles.
You slice your pickle while you're playing your banjo.
I don't think it's that something you can do a quick answer. You have to sit down and think about it.
I think you would. I think that's definitely one that we need answers in a postcard. I think everyone's got to give this serious thought for next week.
Mumford and Sons was because their first two albums were very similar, and you think Speyside, you think it's going to be the same, but then you come out with their third album, which was very electric and niche and quite out there. So that's your Fermari. That's it. Well, hold on, we do something different.
I like the fact you backed up. I'm still not agreeing with you, but I like there's evidence there. So
easy listening, good background music, but there's complexity in the lyrics, and I think I mean you could actually swing it any way you want with any band if you've got a passion for it. But I think Speyside is the recent Speyside tradition of nice and easy and kind of where you are, and then they come out with their third album, which kind of what was called Babel. Babel's second album. Third one was a little bit more electric. It wasn't Banjos and Pickles because there was a band came out and slated them because they said, and I think that's the word they used.
New release.
So they came out with the third album, which was electric, and it was bang. I'm a big Mumford fan, by the way, so it's a compliment.
Oh, it's a compliment. No, I wasn't sure because it's like I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, it's probably easier figuring out the big distilleries. Like Macallan's probably something like Boyzone or something, isn't it? It's like extremely popular, but a bit dated.
I'm not sure they're that popular anymore.
Extremely popular, but take that. Some of the DJs
lost a few members, but they're still going strong.
It would be like a manufactured band, wouldn't it? It would be
like K-pop type stuff.
Oh, K-pop, yes, nice.
Yeah,
that's the Korean guys, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what the K is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah.
I can't think of a big commercial, like a big kind of manufactured band on the go just now.
Banjos and Pickles. That's going to be.
Well, that's independent bottling. That's our fragrance. Banjos and Pickles. That's your fragrance.
Barry Manilow. Oh, this is the tangent turn I was looking for.
It's an awesome name for a band, though. Banjos and Pickles. Yeah, I think we.
Macallan is Barry Manilow. I don't think.
Do you know?
Macallan is bigger than Barry Manilow.
But like a lot of Macallan's releases have got very Barry Manilow kind of sounding song title names. Like it's like, what is that? Like One Night Like This and A Night Like This. Like what was that release that they did? And that's all very Barry.
More Lionel Richie. That's surely
Lionel Richie. Yeah, it's a bit Lionel Richie. So I think
like a live album, One Night Only.
Yeah, under the stars, Lionel Richie and Macallan. I think that would be a good suggestion for them. I think Jeremy Watt's right. There would be a Scottish Malt Whisky Society name, Banjos and Pickles, but we'd have to decide what distillery. Well, Spey. Obviously, Spey Whisky would be Banjos and Pickles. It'd be like the secret name, wouldn't it?
Liking Macallan to take that huge in the 90s, died in the 90s, and then came flying back in the 20s.
Without Robbie Williams.
Robbie, without the talent.
God, all the 80s Spandau Ballet now, all the 80s ones are coming in. This could last. This could run.
We should have started with this.
No, we should have done. This could grow arms and legs. I think this is a really good, like a sort of like a chat all in itself. We need to get somebody from music and somebody from whiskey in and just kind of.
We had this lined up last week. We could have done it last week.
Oh God, yeah. Well, that's happening though. That is going to still happen.
So Bruichladdich must be a good distillery to pick a band for because they're so quirky.
I'm going to put in a question. Stop comparing Macallan because all people are doing Macallan and it's all kind of 80s.
Just Macallan. But Bruichladdich would be like a really cool kind of Scottish band though, wouldn't it? Like Deacon.
It has to be somebody who turns up late for the gigs, like does everything against the grain, doesn't follow rules.
Like Ariana Grande. No, it wasn't her. Who got arrested for like drugs and didn't turn up to her gig? It wasn't Ariana Grande.
I can Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj. Bruichladdich, Nicki Minaj.
Not sure if Adam would go with that, but
no, maybe not.
I was thinking more like the Pogues.
Yeah.
A little bit funky, a little bit rough and lively and traditional at the same time. Ariana Grande.
Very good.
He is churning out the puns tonight. Loving it.
He is, yeah.
Macallan would be Celine Dion, overrated but loved by the wealthy.
Oh, and old people. Old people love them both as well.
But they won't pay. They won't pay to see them.
No, they'll sit outside and clap.
If anyone's here who loves Macallan, I really apologise.
Macallan's an easy target because it's the big boy, so it's easy.
It's technically being complimentary because these are big ticket names that we're suggesting. You know, Celine Dion, Spandau Ballet.
Who's Bruce Springsteen? Who's that? That's going to be an old distillery with lots of classics.
Yeah,
solid hits.
An Orangey or something like that.
Yeah, possibly one of the big boys.
Vic Cameron's coming in with a great shout for Pete and Diesel, great band, but what would the distillery be?
That's got to be off the rockers, so quirky.
Like Ardbeg or something.
No, much. I go for one of the new distilleries, something a bit more quirky.
Because they've got a hell of a lot of diesel to get to the distillery.
Well, that's true. That's true. And they use peat, I suppose. What's the one that I can't pronounce that's like in Gaelic? It's like itchy armpit or something.
Is it Abinderg, is it?
No, Badna Halaz. Badna Halach.
What is that?
Yeah,
they're up at
Almore is Taylor Swift. Very little substance and overproduced.
That's hard.
Eating diesel for lag is a good shout as well, I think.
Sort of vague.
Good as well, that kind of style of whiskey. Yeah, some good comments. This is just getting going. I'll let this.
I'm going to put a wee disclaimer out here by saying this is purely us reading out the comments of the clients, not our opinion at all.
Definitely not. But there's some good shouts. Everybody's very on it tonight.
Just to announce it next week, we have the Macallan marketeer as our guest.
Yeah. If they can't laugh at themselves, I mean that's the name of the game, isn't it? I mean, big boys are always there to be shot at. So I think they did a lot of good things for the industry. I have to say, as in premiumize it. I mean, they did a lot of good things, but I think they maybe a lot of non-age statements that were very expensive. But yeah, nobody's perfect.
Absolutely.
No, they definitely.
Jura's going to be a good band. Some band that's very like recluse, like The Cure or something like that. Some Cure for Jura. That's my call.
No, Jura is Coldplay.
Jura
is Coldplay.
Why would they be Coldplay?
because it's very subdued. It just plods along. It does what it says in the tin. It's just very, and then all of a sudden there's a belter comes out of nowhere. It's just you realize why they've been going along so long.
Yeah, I guess that's quite a nice way of thinking about it. Consistency, quiet consistency.
Yeah,
that's quite good.
Is that a band? Is Veterinarian Office a band? Is that Edredale or is that Veterinary? Is that a band? I've never heard of them.
Sorry, Freddie.
Donner Pass Whiskey.
I've never heard of it. Veterinarian Office. That sounds like quite a specific name for a band. I'm going to Google
Sounds
this.
like it should be like Little Brown Dog or something like that.
Yeah. If I look up Veterinarian Office, I'm just going to get my local vets, though, right? Strathbogie Vet Services.
There you go.
Veterinarian.
Edredale, I would think.
That's got to have a good voice. So they've got a good voice.
Yeah.
Small.
But a voice that people are kind of maybe a Tom Jones. Great in the day, but they're just not there now. Who would Ed Sheeran represent if you're Ed Sheeran?
Popular.
It would be a ladies' whiskey because he's popular with the ladies.
What's the Scottish version of Ed Sheeran called that's better?
Eddie Cinnamon. Oh no, Capaldi.
Lewis Capaldi. Who would he be? Or what distillery would that be? I can't even think of distilleries now. I want to go and get my malt whiskey year.
I know it's amazing. I think I should know more distilleries off the top of my head, but I can't think of anything at all.
I know. Lewis Capaldi. What about like a nice like a Glasgow distillery? Because he's all about like Glasgow. Like it could be like Auchentoshan, because he's like all smooth singing and like Glasgow bands. Maybe Lewis Capaldi could be like Auchentoshan.
Who would Glengarry be?
There's a question.
Oh, see, I wasn't going to mention.
So it's got to a band that people mispronounce the name quite a lot.
Oh, that's a good point. But also known for premium quality and fantastic service.
Do a great tour.
They also do a great tour. Who would they be?
Skippinish.
Yeah, potentially, because people get that name wrong, don't they? I can't think of a band people pronounce the name wrong other than a Scottish band, because, like, I don't know. There's not that many bands that have got unpronounceable names, is there? Oh, we're going to have to give this some serious thought and come back to it, because on the spot, it's hard to think of distilleries and bands. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that one. This is ridiculous. We're devoting way too much time to this.
I disagree. I think we've not devoted enough time to this.
Andrew, you mentioned a long time ago, and I say almost every Blether get a chance, how linked whiskey and music are. And I think that there's no two passions that combine as much in terms of dependent on your mood, dependent on why you're listening to it or drinking it, depending on who you're with. You know, they both change so much. And the wonderful thing about both of them is you can like completely different styles. One day you fancy peat, one day you fancy sherry, one day you fancy grunge, and the other day you fancy hip hop or rock. They're so in tune in what they are. And I think it's fantastic to see everyone is just jumping in and giving their own opinions as well, and using it as a disguised, thinly veiled stab at some of the big guys.
Oh, Biffy Cairo. That's who Glengarry's going to be. I bloody love Biffy Cairo. That's who we are. Definitely.
It's not
Scottish. I don't know if you pronounce the L though, do you?
Do you not?
Oh, you have to. Jimmy Clive.
That might work then. If it's
because it's mispronounced. Oh my God, we've just got the best one yet. The Glengarry Biffy Clyro.
Biffy. I've never heard of Biffy Clyro. That's what's going on there. The Silent L. Never heard that.
I've never heard of a Silent L.
Well, now you have. Like, deal with it. I've never pronounced it as Clyro.
The only L you ever pronounce is in Afford.
As in, like, it's like, Afford. Well, there you go. See, so it does exist. So maybe Biffy Clyro are from Afford.
Biffy Clyro.
Anyway, that's who Glengarry's band is.
Yeah.
I don't know who Jimmy Shand is.
You don't know who Jimmy Shand is?
No. I don't think so. Or
the most famous accordion player in the world ever.
Or surely the only famous accordion player in the world.
some shots getting fired in the chat over here, isn't there? Jesus Christ. I'm trying to think of a watered-down, generic-sounding band for Tom and Till. That's a bit harsh.
Oh, that's harsh.
Nobody's holding back here.
No.
I thought music and whiskey would be a nice, pleasant, like friendly place to be.
Emily Sandé's from Afford.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, because somebody in the whiskey shop once came in and said to me, "Do you know who you look like? You look like Emily Sandé." And I was like, "Do
Ardnahoe, Jimmy Samuel.
I was like, "Do you mean Sandy Tom?" Because I don't think I look a lot like her.
I want to see the workings of this Ardnahoe equals Jimmy Somerville. I want to see how that has come to pass.
Who's Jimmy Somerville?
He's like the high-pitched 80s singer from the, what's it like? I can't remember the song. Oh, it's quite famous in the 80s, like really high-pitched.
I have to Google this. Jimmy Somerville. This is an education.
It's a proper 80s tune, that. Like, is it electro? Is that what they call it? Electro stuff? Definitely keyboards, I'm sure.
What, he just him himself, or is he in a band?
I think he was originally in a band and I think he went himself after. I don't know. I'm not up to speed, but I'm just intrigued to see how Ardnahoe is, Jimmy Summer. Did you get to that?
I don't recognise any of the music. Yeah, I'd like to know your workings for that one. Oh, Mike has disappeared. I was so busy Googling Jimmy Somerville, I didn't even realise he disappeared there. I'm still none the wiser. There's some interesting ones coming through. Yeah, we haven't really got any like dance bands for any of the distilleries. Which ones would be like the sort of like Faithless or like like Fatboy Slim, like Dean suggested. We need a band for like the dance ones.
Surely dances, blends, ones you just pour and drink. It's just like there's not much thinking involved. Just
drink in one hand and glow stick in the other, maybe potentially.
Johnny Walker.
Yeah, that'd be that's quite a good shot.
I'm sure Bronski Beats to do with him. I can't remember. I'm sure Lemmy, the comedian, did some Bronski Beat stuff. I can't remember. I'm sure it's Jimmy Somerville stuff. This chat is so obscure. It's really enjoyable. It's like it's completely. It's like being drunk in a bar and just talking, just whatever takes you, just going mad tangents. So
that's pretty much describes the Blether. A lot of these bands of people that I don't even know who half of these people are.
Hardbeg and the Prodigy, I like that as well. I think that's quite a good link.
That does work. I think Mike must be frozen. Either that or he's concentrating really hard.
I've never seen concentrate this hard.
He's giving it some serious thought. Oh, he's back. There he is. No, I think he's away again. You are back. You are back. Kind of. You're kind of like a... No, there you are. You're coming back into focus. You were just a blur there for a second. Oh, wow. It's weird. You're kind of phasing back in slowly. But there you are. Yeah, we haven't moved on much.
What
Cat. Oh, are you still there? No, are you there? No, he's gone again. No, he's back. It's like you're on like.
I don't want to speak because anytime I speak, it just really cuts everything out.
Is that what it is? Yeah, because you keep kind of blooding out and then coming back again slowly, like you're in Star Wars. We're beaming you back in. And he's gone again. I think we've used up Mike's internet quota for the night, to be honest. We might not be able to get him back. Well, we've definitely come up with some good suggestions for bands and distilleries, but I feel like this is a whole other chat in itself. We might need to get you back on and just dedicate a chat just to
I don't know much about music, so it's just more. I just threw a grenade in there, and you can deal with it. I don't know anything about it.
So. Seal Kiss for the Rose Bank. Dean, you're on it with the puns tonight. That's pretty good. Oh, hang on, Mike's waiting to be let back in again. Mike, I can't deal with the responsibility of being the person that presses the button and stuff. Usually you do all this. I can't deal with that.
It's all right. I don't know what happened there. My computer just decided to have a complete meltdown again. All I could hear was.
It's usually my internet that dies.
So what did I miss?
Dean is rolling out some really good puns. He had Seal Kiss for the Rose Bank for his suggestion, which is pretty decent, to be honest. I think he did Bruce Springbank a minute ago as well.
Maybe sticking my neck out and saying that Seal would only release non-age statements, though.
Is that because he goes out with the young girls?
Is that like the music version of Auto-Tune? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I mean, I'm allowed to say things like that now. And I'm sure he won't be watching. I'm sure his legal team aren't big Blether fans.
You just don't know. We're wide ranging. Who knows? No, we've had some good suggestions. It's definitely got room for a further discussion at some point. Whiskey and ice cream, we also need to delve further into at some point as well. We've got a lot. I'm gonna have to write these down. Actually, we've got a lot of.
And then you've got the people in the music industry, like people like Simon Cowell. Who's the Simon Cowell of whiskey? Who's the? I'm guessing that'd be some kind of whiskey authority with really high trousers.
I don't know if he does the high trousers anymore because he's old fashionable now, isn't he, with his Botox face and new teeth. I don't know. I don't know who that would be in the whiskey world. I'm not too sure. Who would your music equivalent be then, Andrew?
Oh. Well, I get told like it's not so much on music, it's what's the comedian? Kevin Bridges, that's my lookalike. Like, fuck off.
There's worse lookalikes to have. Oh, Mike's away again. His usually it's my internet that we have a problem with every single week, and I'll disappear for quite a lot of the Blether. But Mike seems to be struggling tonight.
Also get the whiskey club in Glasgow called 168 Club. They all call me the guy from the Chase. Like, fuck off. Beast. Like, come on, give me a good one.
Yeah, no, I think Kevin Bridges is a better one than the guy off the Chase.
Yeah, definitely. I'll see that.
Well, they do say everyone's got a double out there. I don't know what my one would be. Definitely not Emily Sandy, but I don't know what my one would be. Somebody short with lots of hair, I guess. But I don't know who it would be in the music. I don't know, like Amy Winehouse, she had a lot of hair, didn't she? And she was quite small. It could be like Amy Winehouse, except without the drugs. Yeah.
Yeah, looking like he's going to be. I always like to kind of point him. I can't. One's not coming to mind for you just now. I can't think.
No, I think this is definitely one we're going to have to put a pin in and come back to. We're a way to lose half of our audience, I think, because they're all going to tune out and go to the Aqua Vitae chat in a minute. It starts at, is it 9 o'clock it starts, Mike?
9:45.
Oh yeah, it can't be 9 o'clock. It's like it would have been like 45 minutes ago. Yeah. Not keeping up with my timekeeping.
So people are going to go from here to do Roy's show. That's hard for like 7 p.m. till like
the warm-up act.
Wow.
I know we are the warm-up act. We're like the sort of like Little Mix to Taylor Swift. I can't think of a better warm-up act. I don't know. Paramore was Taylor Swift.
Little Mix are pretty big.
Well, it was Paramore that was supporting Taylor Swift this time, wasn't it? When she did her whatever tour it was that caused chaos to the country. That's my only Taylor Swift knowledge.
Paramore not quite rocky, are they not?
Yeah.
Metal, yeah.
But I think Taylor's probably like, I'm down with you cool kids. So she's like, I'll get, because she's dating a footballer and stuff. So she's like, getting all this.
Is she like an American footballer or an actual footballer?
Yeah. Like one of them.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Don't push me on knowledge like that. I know nothing about Taylor Swift or football. An American footballer, yes, Jeremy. She's dating one of them. And we all know when Taylor Swift's dating somebody new because it's like the only thing the news talks about. But yeah, I think we've definitely covered whiskey and distilleries. I think we've talked a lot about whiskey, sometimes in obscure ways, but we've definitely covered a lot of whiskey chat.
Good.
I don't know if you guys mentioned Dominic's Diageo with Simon Cowell. I think that's quite.
That's a good show.
I missed that.
The same Diageo with Simon Cowell. I was thinking of who would be Glenn Turret, and it's got to be Cliff Richard. Still on the go for all this time.
This is absolutely brutal. Honestly, we're gonna get pelters for this. Cliff Richard, Jesus Christ!
How is he not even dead yet?
It's a bit harsh.
But he's so old. It's like he's like embalmed but still walking. And all he does is release a calendar once a year and a Christmas song. But people still love him. What's the other one that old people like? Daniel O'Donnell. That's a distillery.
That would be like an old 50. Like.
That's Boyzone. That's Boyzone-esque. Daniel O'Donnell and Boyzone. That would be, that could be Jura or something like that. Something that's
somebody's not even changed. Daniel O'Donnell, Glenfarclas. Somebody's not changed their recipe in 50 years. Just the same thing. Not saying it's bad. Just like it's consistent. Sherry cask, isn't it?
Who would Michael Bublé be? Who only comes out at Christmas with like an album?
That's somebody with some fancy packaging.
Yeah, that comes out at Christmas time.
Like Atom Brands in their calendar or something like that.
Master of Malt.
Darkness, Master of Malt, the Darkness, or other some, that kind of stuff. That would be.
This is ridiculous. We're going to go through every distillery.
That's what we're going to do for next week. We're going to do every distillery, and we're going to have 148.
And he's backed up with evidence, like the reasoning. It can't just be hot takes. You've got to have.
Oh yeah, it'd be proper.
Like a little sort of thesis about why we believe it to be true. Yeah, and we're having a lot of chat about about people leaving, going over to VPub. They're not even hiding it. They're just like, yeah, we're away. We're done.
Yeah. Dean's looking for a link to Aqua Vitae. So Dean, it's a YouTube channel, and it's Aqua AQV, as opposed to AQVATIA. Fireflies.
You sound like you're the optometrist trying to read the sign.
Not promising that.
Say what you see, Mike. Say what you see.
Are you sure about that now? I'm sure he'll find it.
Not one bit of me is. I know I got the AQV bit right.
I'm going to let you entertain everybody while I go and get my diary to find out who's on next week. 2 seconds.
No worries. So guys, Wildcat is looking up next week. Andrew, thank you so much for tonight. It's been an absolute hoot. It's glad that we managed to chink away some whiskey knowledge as well. And hopefully guys are a little bit more aware of Spey. and what you guys do. I think, in going back to when Paul first spoke to us about Spey, such a good whiskey. I think people look at it as a non-age statement, kind of, yeah, why would I do that? As soon as they taste the liquid, they realise that it's good. And it's a testament to the guys and guys like yourself for pushing it in. Really, really impressed with it. And thank you very much for coming along and spending almost 3 hours
that's fine.
Of chat with us.
It was going to be 2 hours until the music and distilleries kicked off. And I was like, oh.
So next week during the music chat, we might talk about whiskey.
Oh, wait, did we acknowledge Dean's Shirley Bassey comment instead of Shirley Bassey? Because that's pretty epic. And he really would like us to point out how hard he worked on that, because that's pretty damn good.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's got. Do you know what? Can we get Dean on in a couple of weeks just so he can do puns only?
Puns only.
Let's do that.
3 hours of continuous puns. Just banging
I'm
out.
here for that. Let's do that. Yeah, that's a good one. I know who I've got on next week, if anybody wants to know.
Okay.
It is Alan Finlay. It's Alan Finlay.
You're joking. That is
I would love to say that that's perfectly planned, but
yeah. Good.
So we spoke about Doric earlier on. If you want to know Doric, tune in next week. Alan is pretty epic on the old Doric front.
Is he hell of a broad?
I have to get Google Translate sometimes when he posts on Facebook just to work out what he's saying.
Absolutely. Dominic, Alan was the distillery manager at Spey up until recently. He's now joined the team for the upcoming Balmod distillery, which is opening in just outside Turriff at Craigston.
Is that close to you guys? Is that quite close?
Yeah. It's kind of halfway between us and Speyside.
It's closer to me. I'm not too far away. Yes. So that's pretty cool. So we'll have him.
Who let the dog out?
Yeah, so as soon as somebody walks near the door, they go mad. So they've been very good for 3 hours. You haven't heard them.
Yeah.
So you heard the van, you heard the politician, but you didn't hear the dogs. So yeah, they've been very good.
I'm going to go down and probably have to clean up a pile of pee for my dogs being out.
You need to run and vote. You get 10 minutes to vote. Better run out and get voting.
Oh, jeez. I know, Kat. Get the skates on.
It's at the top of the street, so I think I should make it. I keep looking at the clock thinking I'm running out of time. But yeah, I need to go and check to see what my children are doing. Maybe I'll just send them up to vote by proxy. Get a pack of 5 at the same time.
Need your, my mum wants to vote for. Yes, can I have a couple of fags?
and a 50p mix up, please.
Oh, those were the days.
Andrew, fantastic.
50p mix up gets you about 3 sweets these days. Like, sorry, you go. You were.
Just say thank you to everyone who's watching for sticking with us as well for
it's
such
been
a
awesome.
If you've been watching retrospectively, let me apologise now. There is no epic finale. It's just a century. It's like watching
putting in apologies, like just sorry for all our viewers, our loyal customers. Really apologise for
if we can jump back to the start and say, you know what, guys, just skip to the end with a great music chat.
No, you've got to be part of the journey there. You don't deserve that unless you've been part of the journey. It's been very, very... Oh, Ryan's just missed it. Ryan, you're going to have to go back and watch this. We can't even explain it.
Well, we could start again.
I'll never make it to vote at this rate. Jesus. I've got to pee before I go as well.
Ryan, I'll catch you up on Aquavita if you want to jump over. But thanks for coming in. Sorry you're late. Yeah, these things can't be helped. But we are recorded. We are available retrospectively. And as always, if you have any questions or puns that come up afterwards, please fire them in the chat and we'll pick them up.
Definitely.
We will see you next week.
Yeah, definitely. And you're welcome back anytime, Andrew. And especially if you've put some more work into creating a list of bands and distilleries, that would be awesome.
See, I got a new roller ban on. That's all come back in. So
Absolutely.
have to get a new one. But we've got some new releases coming. I think probably near the end of the year and then into the beginning of next year. So lots of different stuff, age statements as well. So age whiskies as well. So a lot of the non-age stuff comes from the fact that we bought a distillery 12 years ago. So we're just getting to that age where we've now got some stocks of older stuff. But yeah.
Grand.
Yeah,
perfect.
Well, you know how to find us, so you're welcome back on whenever you like.
No problem.
It's been good.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been good fun. Very left field chat, which is always good because I think whiskey, the beauty of whiskey is just the madness, the crazy people. So keep up the good work.
Thanks very much. Cheers, Andrew.
No problem.
We're all off to make sure none of our codependents have died during.
Yes, of course. Cheers, everyone. We'll see you all next week. Bye. Oh, I forgot I've got to do this now, don't I?
Yeah,
Bye.
How long would we be sitting there waving and
Bye, driver. Bye. Bye.